earlier I was getting ready, and I thought, man, we should have called the podcast the Stupid Conversation Store.
Yeah. Stupid conversation store. That's what you could call this episode.
Yes.
5, 4, 3. I don't know why I do the 5, 4, 3, 2. Maybe to let you all know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beat up, bop, beep, bop, 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 skibbity, bibbity, bop, 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 wildly uninteresting. Welcome to the motherfucking show.
Hi.
Anything that's said on this show, I just want to let you know that we will not rat you out to the government.
Nope.
If you've been watching anything to do with social media the last fucking week and a half, it's been nothing but Tekashi 6ix9ine fucking memes.
Oh, that rat bitch.
Have you fucking seen, dude? Okay, so I wasn't a fan before he went to prison and shit. Now I'm kind of a fan because of the memes.
Yeah.
Just because they're so goddamn funny with his goofy fucking stupid face.
That's true. He does have a stupid face.
Have you read them? The memes are fucking, whoever's creating them are just gold. Every one of them that comes out, they're gold. They got them like setting with like the Last Supper and shit, and they're like, one of you will betray.
This shit's funny. Yeah.
This shit's just amazing, man. I love the world.
Good.
Everybody making fun of everybody. I'm sure there's people out there that like make fun of us.
Hopefully.
Well, fuckers.
I feel like Zach probably does.
Nice.
I don't think we cursed his name last episode. So.
Yeah, fuck you,
Well,
Zach.
better catch up.
Fuck you again, Zach.
Dumb
Fuck you in the ass.
You dumbass bitch ass.
Ooh. But no, so check this out.
Couch idolizes us.
Oh,
Nice.
hi, Couch.
I don't know if he does. I'm just kidding.
He can have a
bet
hug.
you do.
I'll give a
Anyway,
motherfucker
say
a
what
hug.
you're gonna say.
No, I think that it's just
Motherfucking
amazing
hug.
how the world is working right now, in the sense that I don't understand how he was accepted into the Bloods to begin with. I know that he had a lot of money, or he made the Bloods
was
a
he
lot of money.
genuinely in it?
He was definitely fucking in it. Yeah.
Like a branch of him.
Like a
Oh, okay.
branch.
Yeah, and not like legit,
Like
I'm a blood member.
Yeah.
He was a...
He's not really in Christ's
What's it
troop,
like?
but he's a Protestant or
Yeah.
something.
It was like Trey 9
Trey
Bloods.
9 something.
Trey 9 something. It's something stupid. Something to do
yeah.
with the Bloods.
Yeah, because one of the
That's
memes that I found, it said like what it was, and it had a picture of this kid that he alleged was the leader. Was it 9 Trey Bloods?
9 Trey Bloods. There you go.
Breaking.
cool.
6ix9ine reportedly testifies that Jacob Sartorius is the leader of the 9 Trey Bloods, and it's this little fucking kid. Look at that little kid. Look at that fucking kid.
What?
Oh fuck! They were so I
This
listened to
motherfucker's
the.
ratting people out that don't need to be
Oh,
ratted
I
out.
swear, I was listening to the audio from
Which
the
it-
court, and
No one does, but
so
sorry, go ahead.
the thing that people don't get about why he's like just ratting out people for no fucking reason is the fact that like if he lies about any little tiny aspect of anything to do with his story, the whole deal is off the table of him getting like the 5K1 letter, which allows him that it tells him that he's working with the government, he's given us enough information, we're gonna go ahead and release him on his own recognizance, right? But in doing that, he's like ratting on people like Cardi B and fucking
Who have nothing to
Mel
do with
Murda
anything.
and fucking
Yeah, but her music does suck. So if we can
yeah.
bring her down, that's the only part of the ratting I'm cool
We
with.
could go ahead and lock her up for life.
Yeah.
How does this look?
She's released enough shitty music to.
Yeah.
I can't get this hat
want
to work
that shit.
right with the fucking headphones. Maybe if I do them back like this.
Yeah.
Look, I look
Like
like
a
a,
cool
DJ
person.
now. Like
Yeah.
I'm like that marshmallow head guy on the EDM.
Marshmallow Man?
Yeah, whatever that guy's name.
I don't
is.
know.
But-
I don't listen to that crap. It's not real music, and DJs aren't real people.
Yeah, we're not fucking stupid like you.
Ooh.
I was reading comments about, because I've read a news story about it, because one, I didn't know who he was. 2, I didn't know what happened. 3, I didn't know why there was a trial and why people were mad at him.
Right.
So I had to catch myself up. So I was reading comments about the news story. I love it. It's so perfect. This one person put a comment that said, if you're in a gang at all, you should be locked up for life.
that don't even make no sense.
Shit. Yeah. I mean, yes,
Well, I mean,
gangs
it
do
kinda-
terrible stuff, but you
yeah.
can't just lock people up because you fucking want to.
Yeah, like maybe they're just the accountants.
Yeah, what if he didn't do anything?
Man.
I haven't pulled the trigger on one motherfucker.
Yeah,
I just
not
keep the
one.
books.
Yeah, dude.
That would be I don't know, man. People, I feel like he was the flunky of the group,
Yeah.
but
Well, he
like
had to
why'd you
be.
let him in the first place in that manner. Like, you knew he was going to be the flunky. The flunky always rats on everybody.
You knew
Why would
that-
you give him all that information?
Everybody needs a flunky in their group, though.
But you also knew going into it, that he's a bitch. Like, he looks like a My Little Pony. He's a
It
bitch.
does. Yeah.
Why'd they kidnap him? What was the point of that? Just because
What?
they kidnapped him.
What
That's
do you mean they kidnapped him?
that's the whole reason this trial's going on, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, no. That ain't the
I'm
whole
not-
reason the trial's
I've
going
paid a
on.
little
Is
less
this
attention than you
his
clearly.
trial? Because
Yeah,
he
it's his
was
trial.
for
He got fucked up.
not
for, like,
extortion, but
yeah. There's a bunch of counts of extortion and fucking
racketeering.
racketeering.
That's what
Racketeering's the
it
word.
is. Yeah.
So he gets in trouble for all that shit, and they were like, so the whole story behind the whole story is that he gets locked up, and then after like going to court and everything, they said 45 years of life, and then he was like, I'll work with the government if it takes off my sentence, right? No, that's not how it worked. They asked him on court on like the first day of whatever on his trial. They asked him, they were like, so when did your incarceration start? And say it was like on the 19th of a certain month, right? Yeah. So he was like, on the 19th. And they were like, well, when did you decide to work with the government? And he was like, on the 20th. It was literally the next day.
The next day.
So he gets locked up. I think it was the 18th and 19th on whatever month it was. Wow. But the next day, he was just like, yo, I'll tell on everybody if you let me out of here.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like they were facing him with life at that point. You know what I mean?
There's tape of him being kidnapped. It was like his gang members fucking kidnapped him, and they tried to rob him. First off, he had like an OnStar car that he was riding in, and they snatched him out of it and took his fucking My Little Pony necklace. This bitch cost like $35,000. First off,
Pony necklace,
why do you
Took my
have
My
a
Little Pony
$35,000 necklace? And second off, why is it My Little Ponies?
Well, he's in the rap game and he's a bitch. So.
Yeah, so of course he got My Little Pony. It had to match his fucking teeth and hair.
They need to let me in the rap game.
Yeah,
I
they
suppose.
absolutely
They
should.
need to let me in the rap game for sure.
I think
bro.
you need to perform one of your songs on here, actually.
Yeah, one day I'll just fucking like rap, and you'll be like, "What is he doing?"
Because that shit's good.
It's actually like magic. I feel like though the people that are listening to the podcast, their brains will explode from all the excitement.
Because
that my
they're all
voice-
retarded and you're so good.
Yeah,
I know.
they're just
I know how we need to introduce it,
Yeah.
but like I don't want to say it right now.
Okay. It just
we're gonna keep
Make
it under
sure you
wraps.
wanna
for
write
right
it
now.
down.
Cause like, yeah, because like
So
when
you
it
remember.
happens, like I just want to
yeah.
fucking,
Ooh.
Oh,
fucking
look
do
out!
it.
Yeah, you need to definitely write it down so we remember to
Remember it.
talk about it.
So this is something that's weird. So in this whole process of me like finding what I want to do in life, right? I find these new ways to do things, more productive ways, right? And I think I could pass this on to somebody, which I always like everything that Sarah tells me. I'm like, oh, okay. And then like, I don't do it, but eventually it comes out. I'm like, oh, I probably should have been doing that all
Yeah, he
along.
hears somebody
So
else say it, and he's like, oh,
I'm
this
like,
is a good
This
idea.
is a fucking legit
And
idea.
comes to me and is like, hey, this person said this, isn't it cool?
So then I start doing it. So
So then I started doing
you
it.
need it. Like, this is a weird thing because I don't know how you write music, but
I don't.
they say a lot of people filter from like their brain to their mouth, right? So when you come up with a line for a song or you come up for whatever, right? Your brain thinks of it first, right? Well, then in between your brain and your mouth, you have this filter that's like, well, will they interpret it the way I'm thinking it? How
You
will it
just
come
assume that
out?
They never will.
Yeah, does it sound good with the music? Blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
So the whole point of this exercise is to wake up every morning, right, and jot down 3 pages of just whatever's on your mind. You just write, right, and then later on you process it. You know what I mean? So you don't
That
filter
makes
at all.
sense.
Like when you wake up first thing in the morning, you just start writing. Whether you write books, or you're an artist or
Anything.
whatever, you just wake up and just start writing. You write it down, whatever comes to mind. Yeah. And the thing I found out though, like there's a lot of fucked up shit in my head. Like I didn't know that I was gonna learn all this stuff about myself, like murder and
Was it just seeing it in writing that did it?
Murder.
Because I mean, you've had these thoughts before,
I think
and you
seeing
just
it.
never judged yourself because it was
Yeah.
always internal.
Yeah, I was like, well, nobody knows because it's all up in my head, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, I
But
think
now
there's
that
a big difference too between thinking something and either saying it or seeing it written down. It's a big difference. It has more of an impact anyway.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But when you see it visually, you're like, oh man, dude, I think I need help. But I think a lot of people, a lot of rappers, a lot of
committed
good
to that.
artists, they're so fucked up that's why their art's so good, is because like they
Oh, hell
they
yeah.
vocalize
Yeah,
it,
that's exactly
or they
why.
they visualize it, or they paint it,
I
or
think that's
whatever.
why Kevin Spacey's such a good actor, is because he's so fucked up.
Yes. I swear to God, when
All that
when
small
we were
boy
trying
love.
to figure out that one line that you couldn't remember,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking was, you're so good at this. It's because you're
I'm
fucked
fucked up.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
It's wonderful.
I spend 98% of my day in my head. Like when I'm driving around, or even with her in the car, like if I'm having a conversation with you, I'm also having a conversation with myself. Like way back here, I can feel the conversation going on between whoever's up there. There's a couple people, and they fucking talk together, and they're just like, oh yeah, and then an idea will spark, and I'm like, all right, pick that up later. Like put that in a little box and put it in the corner, and then
And then
we'll
the guy back there is just yelling at you.
yeah.
Stop giving me shit to file.
I'm overwhelmed.
You don't pay me anything to do this.
But no, man, I don't know what, like I
They
said, I
don't
don't know
pay
what
me
your
enough to talk
process
to
is.
you
Oh
two.
yeah, I forgot what the point of this was.
Yeah, I don't know what your process is, but like I've been finding out like new shit about myself, because I've been forcing myself to come back here. Like she'll come home from work, right? And we used to like sit there and she'd like take a nap, or I'd be off at work, whatever. But now I've set up back here, like I'll have the MIDI controller, the keyboard, the laptop, my paper and stuff. And it's crazy because I'll start with like, you know, a 3-note melody, right? I start with 3-note melody, and then I start building on top of that, and then like I'll bring the guitar in, I'll do a little bit of that, and it's funny like to see the end of it. It's because like this has been in here all the time, and I didn't even know what I was looking for. I'm just like pressing keys, and then I'm like, oh, this sounds good. This sounds
Ends
good.
up
It's
being
my brain.
fantastic.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that makes me tingly.
Yeah.
Of course, that.
It's like visually seeing, or I guess not visually, but auditorily seeing, like hearing your brain. I don't know how to explain it, but you
No.
can see it, you can
No,
feel
wait.
it.
Hearing your
Yeah,
Hearing your
it's
brain.
perfect.
I like that.
I
But-
do
Now,
too.
musically, like my process is essentially the same as yours appears to be,
Oh, okay.
but you know, in the sense of like creating with words and shit, it's just I wait until something comes into my head that I just can't live without repeating at some point.
Can't live
And then
without repeating.
and then I
Does it-
write it down.
Does it come in like a phrase? Like, so I found, because that's why I took like a long time. I tried when I was younger, and I even went on stage and did like little shows and stuff, to where I'd be up there with a guitar and be singing, and it never fulfilled me. I was never like, oh man, this is fucking good, you know.
Yeah.
One time I played it All Along the Watchtower. A few guys were like, oh shit, we're gonna get in on this, and they get on stage with me, and it was literally the highest moment of my life, as far as like
What about
everything.
your fucking wedding?
No. I mean, like, as
It
far as
wasn't that
music
good.
and
What
shit.
about that shit you
No.
took last week?
As far as music and stuff,
I was
dude,
like, what'd you take?
like I was at a higher level where like everything around me I couldn't see. It was all colorful. It was like on a fucking mushroom trip, but it was because of like how good the music sounded, and the people playing around me. They were just like fucking that energy.
Plus,
You
I
could
assume it
fucking
had to
see
do with your mental state at the time.
Yeah.
Everything just clicked. And
It was
like,
just
oh,
like,
dude.
oh fuck. But I've never found that in the music, and I think it's because I was always taught, oh, you gotta have a guitar, and you have to have these chords, this progression, then you have to have some drums and stuff. Well, when I started, she like, you know, when I've been talking about it since the podcast, to start like laying down like some simple beats and putting
Yo.
some words to it and shit, like my own stuff, not like rapping to other people's instrumentals.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I find myself more creative. Like, I am excited to fucking write some shit
Mm-hmm.
down. Even if it's terrible, I'm just like, oh, I fucking like doing this. You know, it's fun.
And so
Yes.
you get the process all the way from the start to the end,
Yeah.
and everything in between. It's all you.
I thought it was going to be like a lot of work, but it's kind of fun. On the days that I'm like on point and like in the zone, like fucking pressing
Yeah.
the fucking keys, I'm like, I fucking like this.
So I feel like the hardest part about being in the zone, we'll say, is just being completely genuine in what you're doing.
Right.
It's
Right.
like, this is entirely me, and I fucking mean this shit.
Yeah.
Instead of, I think this will be entertaining.
Yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
that.
Right. And that's what it goes back to what we were
Yeah,
saying.
the
Like,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt thing.
yeah, I've been trying to
Yes.
shut down my like thinking about, oh well, how will people perceive this? How will they fucking feel about it? You know, well, fuck that. Like if
Yeah.
you bring that into the picture, it's always gonna muddy the waters. Like I'm just gonna do this,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna do it until I feel good.
And so it would be
Yeah,
fuck
impossible
everybody
to
else.
create something that's truly good because not everybody is going to like every single thing.
Right.
So
Indeed.
you're going to come across someone who hates something just like the podcast.
They
We
killed
know
Jesus,
people. Yeah,
and they're probably
seriously.
gonna shit on your song.
Yeah. We know people who don't like our podcast. They think it's boring. Like, that's fine.
Who are they? Fuck them.
Uh,
Let's find them.
His mom.
Yeah, they share a
get a
lot
gang
of the
to
same
kidnap that
biology.
bitch.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say their name, but they share the same biology.
Yeah. Mom, you suck.
You bitch.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing is you have to do it because you enjoy doing it. If no one ever listened to this shit, I wouldn't care. It would make
Yo.
me happy just doing it.
But this is another thing too. Is since I've
Smells
been,
like cereal.
it is.
It is.
Yeah.
You're spot on.
Uh-huh.
Crunch.
It's Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch.
I like that shit.
It's
But-
Dippin' Burries.
Since I've been meditating more and like, so that's what a lot of people are afraid of. What's inside themselves. Like they're afraid of
It's
what.
me.
You know what I mean? Like we use like the phone and social media as a distraction to who we really are. And like me, technically, I don't ever want to go to work. I want to blow shit up. I want to fucking like, you know, I want to build stuff in the backyard and then take it down with an axe.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do the most random shit.
flamethrower.
And if I could get paid for it, even better.
That hat combined with the thought of you with an axe is
Oh,
just
man.
Beautiful.
gold.
I want to hammer down, but there has to
down.
be there has to be so many more people out there like me that just want to wake up in the morning and destroy shit. That's all I
Yeah.
want to do all day long.
Yeah.
Is that and create like some stupid music that I like to hear myself.
It's not stupid. It's fantastic.
And you know why I started doing it though is because like I listen to stuff that's out there right now, right? And I'm like, oh man, but what if it said this? Or like, oh, what if it was worded this? What if it had this cadence and shit? I'm like, well, try that. Let's see how it fucking sounds. I think a lot of people need to start, even if they're not creative whatsoever. Like I think everybody can be creative in a sense.
In
You
a
just gotta
sense,
find-
yeah.
I used to think that, but I've met some people. I think that it's not in everyone.
Not in
I
every-
think so. But
I
see,
could see maybe where it's not in everyone. And
Yeah.
you just, I think you have to broaden your definition of creativity because, like, I'm creative in the sense that, like, I make jewelry that doesn't look like other people's jewelry. And, but that's about where that ends. I have no other, I'm crafty.
Still,
But I can't, yeah, but I can't write music. Nope.
Yeah, I guess the
Can't do it.
craftiness. Yeah, because I always think of it in terms of like, well, do you write songs? Do you write comedy? Do you write stories?
Yeah, no,
I guess making clothes
yeah.
and the jewelry and whatnot, and just making something that wasn't there before.
Mm-hmm.
But there
Right.
are some people I think still though.
I like that.
Nothing.
And that's what
Yeah.
I used to like about the trade. Like we would have to show up to a job where it was like empty flat land and you had to visualize, all right, where are my feeder pipes going to come in? Where's the main panel going to be? Where, you know, you had to build the house with no framework, no nothing. You had to build it in your head just to see, okay, it's going to go here. We're going to put it there and stuff. And eventually that would come together. And that's a visualization. Like you can do that with anything in the world. Like think about it, dream about it. You know, that's the same way with the Wright brothers. I'm sure they were in the background like, dude, I guarantee we can fly like that motherfucking bird up there. And then the dude looked at him and was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know,
You
let's
bet
fucking
your
figure it
ass
out.
you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the cool thing about the brain and the reality. And I sent you that video, that TED Talk, is
Yes.
because you
TikTok.
can,
You sent it to me too.
yeah, but
Yeah, it was a group effort.
yeah, oh yeah,
Exclusive bitch.
my bad. Your reality is just a hallucination that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody is, you know, generally we agree that this is a fucking bottle of water, right?
Right.
Well, it's a hallucination still because we can't explain why we, you know, it's just our brain's rationalization of what that is.
Right.
But we all agree on it. Mm-hmm. Now, if I thought that was a dog, and I'd be looked at like, hey, you're kind of fucked up. But if you,
need
embrace
to go to
that,
the
though,
doctor.
if you embrace your weirdness, I think you can find a lot of good shit within your weirdness. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
fucking create whatever world you want around you. Fuck everybody else.
That's
You
right.
be a poor, broke motherfucker in a box dreaming of a world that's built of gold. You piece of shit.
You piece of shit. Let's
You
end
fucking
Let's
piece
end
of
the
shit.
episode now.
Done. But you get what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, I think the creative portion of the brain is a beautiful thing. And
Yes.
I agree with you, though. It's the same. There's people who like own companies and run companies, and they're managers, and there's supervisors, and then there's employees. And that's all they're going to be the rest of their life. Like, don't complain about your paycheck, bro, because you ain't got much to give.
Yeah.
Like, you got to shut the fuck up and go carry the pipe, because we don't give a fuck about you, you know? And he's like, cool, I'm a fucking lowlife.
So
I'm
if you
gonna
think
be-
of the
I'm a fucking
average,
lowlife.
the average intelligence of humans, and then there are a lot of people that are dumber than that.
Yeah.
They have to do something.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
man. And they do. And it's like, I have people on my Facebook that like, they're like, oh, I got a new job. But it's like a new job. Like, I think the person I'm thinking of has like the 5th job in this month, you know?
Yeah.
And it's always like some dumbed down fucking, it's like, why do you keep going to the same dumb fucking job?
Right. Well, and why are you going to the same job if you're losing the same job already? It's just in a different
It
fucking
is.
facility.
It's the same job. And they're
So,
like,
like, if you work at McDonald's and you get fired or you quit, and then you go and you work at Wendy's,
same
it's
thing.
the same fucking thing.
Why
Same
did you
thing.
not say Burger King?
I don't know. I just
Okay.
was thinking about Wendy's. I
All right,
don't know.
no, it's fine.
I told her though, honestly, like at this point
Fuck
in my
you. Don't
life,
tell me how to think.
to have
Pick
more
my secondary burger place when I want.
to have more time. And I mean, I've accomplished what I feel is a lot in my trade without really like a lot of effort. Like, I mean, I put a lot of effort into it, but as far as like I'm concerned, I was like, I had more to give. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I probably half-assed a lot of it. I half-assed a lot in life. But the thing is, I don't know where I was going with that conversation.
That's awesome.
Really half-assed that conversation.
I
Yep.
half-assed that conversation. you know what I
Moving
mean?
on.
But no, I would go work at like Burger King and right now, like having a master's and a contractor's and owning a company, I would go work at a Taco Bell or a McDonald's just to like make, the bills, and I'll go blow shit up and beat shit up. Like, because life, I don't think needs to revolve around like how much you make or your status or your car or whatever.
Dude,
like,
I have
fuck it, bro.
people at work all the time because I take off frequently because we're going to do something. We're going on vacation. There's a concert. I fucking don't want to get up at 4 a.m. Whatever it is, I'll request off. And I've had patients complain about it. And they're like, you're always not here. Except I'm there more than I'm not. But
Right.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
just-
out living life, you worthless bastard.
Right. And I've recently started telling them, like, I love my job. I love what I do. But this isn't my fucking life.
Yeah.
And, like, I'd much rather
That's the
do
thing.
something outside of
Hey,
there.
let's
I got the
welcome this
Chomos
weirdo.
on. I got the Chomo 3000, yo.
Yes.
The new and improved Atom. About to touch your
The
kids.
Chomo glows.
No, but like, okay, so I deal with some of these. I deal with some of these customers, man, and they just take life so motherfucking serious. And you know me personally. Like, I don't really give a fuck about much. People like work with me because as long as you're moving or walking, like as long as you look like you're working, fuck it, man.
Good
Like
to go.
it'll get done eventually. But these people get so serious and they're like, there's a deadline, and they get all fucking uptight. Or they're like, my money means I got status. Like, dude, you can die just like the rest of us. Like, you could die tomorrow. I don't give a fuck
You can
about
take
you.
that money and shove it up your fucking
And with
ass.
that attitude, I
Nobody
kind of hope
cares.
you do die
And
tomorrow.
that's
Yeah.
the thing too. They'll come at you. They'll be like, "Yo, I'm paying a lot of money, or I'm offering the thought of a lot of money for this job, so you better bow down to me." But guess what, motherfucker? Money doesn't matter to me.
All right.
So now what do you have? Now what can
you
you
got
offer
nothing
me?
on me now, motherfucker.
Yeah, I could just leave and not finish
And
the
not
job.
finish the job because I don't care, because it doesn't matter to me, right? So when you get to that point, that's a beautiful place to be. Like, yo, it doesn't fucking matter. Your status don't fucking matter to me, because you can die just like the rest of you. Like, you're gonna die just like the
And
rest
you
of
will
fuck you,
die.
bro.
I'll
That's
use
right.
the money that you're paying me while you're barking at me to have you murked.
That's right.
Keep talking, motherfucker.
So for people who lack creativity, do you think it's possible for them to learn how to be creative, or do you think that's just inherently like something you're born with?
I think they can. What do you think? I'm going to say it can. I'm going to say that they can. Because, but they have to find what drives them creatively. It might not be.
It seems reasonable, but I mean, it would be not only like a teaching and learning experience. It would be like they would have to go within. Like they'd have to do some crazy ass self discovery and like get the fuck out of their zone.
Right. Yep.
But yeah, I guess it seems reasonable.
What do you do to get out of your zone as far as like? Because, you know, the world kind of like puts all the views on you. You're looking at Facebook. Everything kind of like hinders that, like, you know, they're like, they tell you who you need to be, who you need to act like, what you need to buy. What do you know? How do you step outside of, like, you know, following in that way? Because sometimes I get caught up in that. Like, I get caught up in like, oh, shit, man, maybe I should start like really taking life serious and fucking doing it, and then my whole body doesn't want to do it. But how do you step outside that? Like, how do you go against the grain, I guess is what I'm saying.
I guess I don't actively go against the grain. I just stop paying attention to people, and I just think, all right, what do I want?
Right.
What do you want?
Yeah. And then I just kind of, I'll search for things that are kind of in the vein of what I want, and then I just kind of build up a little world around me for a minute.
Yep.
And then I just go into it. And then as long as I'm not interrupted, I stay in it.
I don't like escapism as much as like there's a difference between like escapism and creativity. Yes. And I try not to escape too much. You know what I mean?
I love escaping.
Yeah, but I think there's a point where that gets unhealthy. But I don't think like
don't you tell me what I know.
That's right.
Creativity, I don't think gets unhealthy.
You don't tell my family what to do.
You can go as deep as you want in the darkness, because I've been dark before, very dark, you know, very deep and dark. And I don't think that, like, I think there's an unhealthy portion where you cut yourself off from the people around you and stuff. I don't like being around a lot of people, but you know, like my wife, like there's a point where you can get so deep in your escapism that you just get away from like the people you love, your animals, whatever the fuck you like.
No, it's good to have a solid foundation that you can come back to.
Right.
So David Lynch used to he would go to Big Boy every day. Frisch's Big Boy. I don't want it to sound like a...
I was like...
Big Boy.
Like Big Boy? Like the rapper?
Boy.
He'd go to him and be like, hey, man.
Now, he would go there, and he said he liked it there because he could go into his own little world and like get as deep and dark as he wanted. But then when he needed to come back, he was like, here you go. Here's the diner. I'm good. So, yeah, it's cool to have that, I guess, that
place,
that bedrock there.
Yeah. Mine, I would say it would be on top of the hill where I go, and like I release a lot up there. Like, you know, when I went to church,
how many trees are up there?
Oh, it's a forest.
It's like overlooking a forest essentially, so a shit ton.
That and some cornfields.
It would depend on where you go. You can like sit like by a sidewalk and look over the shit, or you could go further into it. So just your preference.
And that's the thing, like, I'll let all this stuff build up throughout the day, you know, and I go up there. Like, when I went to church, I would leave more mad than, you know, when I went in. I was fucking pissed by the time I
used to
got
tell
home.
them that on a regular basis. Like, this is not how you're supposed to leave church.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a healthy thing.
And it had nothing to do...
ready to kick ass for the Lord.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with my
time.
spirituality or anything, because I'm very close to what I call my God. I'm very close to my inner being and all that. Like, I pray, I do all that. But the things that they would say in church and the hatefulness and the judgmentalness would be like, I mean, damning, like fucking fiery depths of hell, damning. Like, and so going on top of this hill, I found who I am spiritually. You know what I mean? Because I go up there, and I talk like I'm a fucking human. And I'm like, yo, I'm fucking like, here's all my bullshit. Like, help me out with it. And then sure enough, by the time I get down to the bottom of the hill, I have an answer. Like, ask her. There's a lot of times I call her. I'm like, yo, here's an ideal. Like, let's fucking do this.
Well, I feel like that's because you're more in tune with what you consider God to be than watching some jackass that's misguided.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's way better.
Yeah. And then, you know, what who gives those people, which I'm sure there's like, you know, you go to school for it, and I'm sure they're like, they appoint you or whatever, but who the fuck has the authority to be like, you lead this flock of people?
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
The deans of the religious colleges.
Yes, religious deans.
Religious deans.
They're like, this motherfucker can make us a lot of money
Yeah.
with his words.
I just don't understand how, in life in general, it seems like there's like a quote unquote checklist that kind of goes along with everything, no matter what it is. There's a checklist on how you're to behave in this situation. There's a checklist for what's going to send you to hell, for what's going to get you into heaven, for fucking everything, literally.
Yeah.
And just, I don't understand how all these people are supposed to be telling other people how to fucking live. You have to do this, this, and this. Or you can go fuck yourself, basically.
I feel like whether they're
Fuck that
right or
checklist.
wrong, it's good to have like a solid.
You need a foundation, certainly.
Yeah, because
of,
like if it's
right and
wrong,
wrong.
then you can see it, and you're like, oh, well, this is obviously fucking stupid.
right.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like the writing shit down in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
can
just trim
visually
the fat.
see
You're like,
shit.
oh, this is a stupid ass idea.
Yes,
I'm glad I wrote it down so I can see it.
I'm gonna be like straight up honest. This is gonna sound like very harsh, so don't take it the wrong way. But it's directed towards you.
We're harsh people.
So
Towards him or me?
him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when I
I'm
first,
nervous now.
when I got out of like prison, even like before that, because before all the drugs and just the madness, I was like, oh, you got to do it this way and blah blah blah. And you know, as far as your daddy has a way of fucking like you get the job, you do the 401k, you fucking you know whatever.
Look
stay
at
with
my
the company, and fucking
Yeah,
look at-
yeah.
You know, and that's what like I think in the beginning times when I got out of prison and stuff, and I was working hard and stuff, and I would always look at like you work at this as a security guard. It's laid back. You go home, you do what the fuck you want, right? And I would always be like, well, doesn't he want like more, a bigger paycheck or what have you? You know, a part of that checklist, right? And
Don't
now
you want to expand life?
yeah. And now it's funny because it's entirely flipped. After the wreck, my whole view and outlook on the world changed. And now I envy you because before.
Why would I take offense to this? You're telling me I was right.
Right. Well, you know, I don't want you
He
to
loves
think like
to
I was
hear
like,
that he's
yeah.
right. So come on.
I don't want you to think like I was down in the process in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't. It didn't fit the bill of like what everybody else did. And I was always like, well, why does he fucking do it? And then after the wreck, and I seen all that, like I started envying that. Like, yo, you don't give a shit.
Well,
and I was like, how do you get to that point where you don't fucking care?
And I don't know what it
wanna be there.
is, but I want to come back to. I
And
have something to
enjoy
say
it.
to that,
Enjoy
but
it, yeah.
there's something about. I don't know if it's how we were raised or because we've always been close, and maybe I just like got it from you. But there's something in the two of us that we just don't give a fuck. I mean, we do to a certain extent, but.
Right.
In general, don't give a
That's
fuck.
not in a like in a derogatory sense or mean. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I don't give a fuck about nothing. It's more of like
We just
her.
do
Yeah.
our own thing.
I could look at her and be like, yo, whatever it is, right? The most outrageous shit you can think of, right? I want to do this. Like, oh, I want to make beats and rap. That come out of my mouth this week, right? Yo, I want to make beats and rap. And literally, she's like, well, go in the back, set the fucking shit up, and do it. Like, she looked at me like if there wasn't like a question. Like most wives, and I know wives personally that do this to their fucking husbands, dude, will look at them like, how the fuck is that gonna pay bills? And you know. Fucking, why would you ever think about doing anything like that? We got bills to pay and all
But
this.
you better not quit your job.
And that, yeah, dude, and it makes me want to jump off a fucking bridge. But then, like, how grateful I am that I met both of you all to learn that it doesn't have to be that way. If I show up like, you know, in my 60s, right, and I ain't got a pot to piss in, dime, whatever, as long as the life leading up to that has been absolutely perfect in my mind, who the fuck cares?
And I
got that
know
from you all.
That was another segment of Adam Shits on Women.
That's right. I know. Yes. Thank you for picking up on it. I know that he and I had multiple conversations about him asking about like, do you think he wants to do anything more like in life? And I think that's what I always told him is I think he's happy. Like if he wanted to do something different, he would. Like, but I think a lot of it comes down to like, I don't want to say expectations, but like he really likes you. knows you're smart. He knows you have talent. He knows you have a lot to offer. So he wants more for you, whatever you would call that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's like a word for that.
Yeah.
You want me to live up to my potential?
Yeah,
I guess so,
essentially.
yeah.
But when it comes down to it, like,
Well, you can stop right there, buddy. That's not gonna happen.
Many have won it, many have lost that war.
yes.
But you
But
get, yeah, that's
I think that's
the general
what-
ideal.
Yeah, he thinks that you should be doing something different to live up to your
Yeah.
potential.
But that's how I was before the wreck. It's
Uh-huh.
like, yo, I was like, what am I fucking doing with my life? I want so much more. And then after the wreck, I realized, like, yo, like,
you're
be
fucking
happy,
doing
man.
it right.
Yeah. It didn't
Hell
dawn
yeah.
on me like, yo, why keep wanting for more. And then we've read this fucking thing about who's the guy that we just he had the rich guy, Bill Gates, who just died. The really
Fuck,
rich
who
guy
was
that
it
just
that-
died.
I don't know. I haven't paid
Microsoft
attention
guy?
to
Jobs.
deaths.
Steve Jobs,
Yep.
right?
Was it recent? That was like 20 years ago.
No,
It wasn't
no.
20
Yeah,
years
It was
ago.
a while back though.
Like
You're right.
6.
Let
But
me explain.
they released these things that he had said on his deathbed,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
and they were fucking eye-opening because the more and more I look into these, and I hate to bring him up, but I think he's fucking fantastic. But like J. Cole, he's like, yo, I've been on this side of the fence where I had nothing. I was completely broke, and I wanted that lifestyle and all that. Then I crossed the fence and got into the greener grass, and I realized how much more like terrible that is compared to the poor lifestyle. He was like, I was happier when I was broke trying to get to that side. So he deliberately put himself back into the broke, the fucking like trying to make it and making it hard on himself. And then like we read the stuff about Steve Jobs, and he's like, yo, the money, like if he on his deathbed was like, if I could take it all back, I would have never created anything, and I would have just been happy doing it. He was like, because the money did not buy me happiness.
Right.
It's pretty much what he was saying. I was like, if that ain't eye-opening, a rich motherfucker like that could have anything, that should be eye-opening.
He
'Cause
would have
they-
fucking worked less. It's because
Yeah.
fucking life does not revolve around the job.
Yeah.
And so many people think it fucking does. Who
Right.
cares?
by that like that dollar or that material thing you're trying to get or whatever. And that's what it dawned on me. Like, we had the conversation. I was like, yo, it's all those times I questioned you or like brought up, don't he want like this or
Right.
that. It dawned on me like how right you had the world, because now like I'm like, I gotta get to that place. Like I envy that now, because I want to be content in here without all that stuff out there. You know what I mean? Like fuck it, if I have like $50 in the bank and we got gas and we're moving, like fuck it, dude. Like I'm good.
That's right.
That's why I told her, I was like, yo, I could work at it. And that's another thing. A lot of guys
That's
can't
a
do
sentence.
this.
Goddamn.
A lot of guys can't go to their wife and be like, yo, I want to work at McDonald's. That way I can be happier, spending more time at home. A lot of guys can't do that. But I said that to her, and she was like, yeah, you could. You
Like,
could.
yeah, I'd
Let's
like
that.
to do that too.
But it's just a form of trying to find happiness without that materialistic, that preconceived notion of what life truly is. You got to 401k and fucking do it right.
It's like the
fuck that.
American Beauty outlook on things. Have you guys seen that?
Oh, man, it's been a while, though.
Yeah, well,
Yerp.
Kevin Spacey quits his job.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just
What?
he goes and he actually I think he gets fired.
Either way,
Hey,
he's
either way,
unemployed.
Yeah, but like he loves it, and then he just goes through the drive-through of this fast food place, and he's like, I want to apply for a job. I want the one with the least amount of responsibility.
Yes,
Yeah.
And
that's
he
awesome.
stops like chasing material shit, and he just starts living life. And he's like, all right,
It's
Yeah.
fucking
So you just-
awesome.
follow your passions, don't die, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I could see like going, which
I like
I
it.
like doing my own thing because I can work as much as I want, as less as long as I can make enough to pull her out of her company so that we can spend more time. Like I've achieved. So if that's $90,000 a year to cover the bills and stuff to keep us alive and go on one vacation a year, that's fine. I don't have to be like a super successful company anymore. I'm like, I make enough to get her out of the fucking place she's at, and we can spend it at the house, and we can like make beats and fuck each other up, and like, you know what I mean? Like slap box
ice
each
cream.
other, eat ice cream, pet the cats.
Look,
like,
I'm
fuck it.
completely content laying on the couch eating ice cream, watching the same show over and over again
Yeah.
with my husband and my cats. I'm cool.
And
I don't need anything else.
I do
at
have
all.
a habit of not finishing my sentences. That's another thing.
I get on him all the time. He'll be saying something and he'll like, and I say, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Though. I mean,
I have to
I
bring
do
it all
too.
together.
Yeah.
I have to bring it all together. That's what I was saying about all the comedy and everything up here. It's like watching.
He just did it twice.
It's like watching Alex Jones. I feel like he has so much information that he's just like blah blah blah, and he never finishes.
Yeah.
I feel the same. Like so manic up here, and there's so many people talking that I'm like, all right, fucking like let's try to zone in on a fucking project here.
Hell yeah.
I got like a lot of delegation going on there. Like, are you over here? But nobody to like a chief. Nobody's like, yeah, this is the project.
There's no jefe, just a bunch of dudes running around in panic.
Yeah, they're all like bumping into each other and fucking like, what is going on? A lot of mayhem up here. Mayhem.
I kind of picture
like
it like
it.
Frogger.
Yeah.
You're going along, you jump
shit,
within the
shit.
lane. Yeah. Like, oh, here's this thought. Oh no, fuck that.
Yeah.
It's exactly how it is, man.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
sure there's a
perfect.
lot of people out there, and I try to not get overwhelmed in that because it does stifle the creativity. Because I'll be like writing it like, and then I go off something else, and then I want to go for a drive, and when I'm driving, I can't write, so I'm like all these
Right.
thoughts are coming in. I'm like, that's
You
a
need
good
to
idea.
do like voice to text.
Voice, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I gotta get used to that.
No. Don't do voice to text.
Oh, because it does fuck shit up.
Yeah, you have to like speak clearly and a little slowly. But if you just do the audio,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
just
McDonald's, you're
audio.
like note to self.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's what I
but
started doing.
Yeah, because your voice to text would end up being just nonsense.
nonsense, dude.
That's when I realized that I'm not drunk as long as my voice to text will understand me.
Yes.
That's when you know, like, you hit a point where it's like, I don't understand
Shit,
you.
I've done the voice to text thing and it doesn't. I got it to where it will, but it also learns what you commonly say. So it'll,
Yeah.
instead of like counselor, it would say cancer, but after it heard me say counselor enough, it would
Yeah.
correct itself.
Counselor.
It would say cancer patients instead of counselor and patient.
That which we'll put a link of that like TED Talk that I sent you.
Wheeze
You-
nuts, you'll do it.
I'll do
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
That TED Talk was a fucking good one. Like
Joke.
I like watching
The
TED
joke.
Talks. I like
a
watching
joke.
them, but I find like myself getting into like a row of them that are very, very fucking good and interesting. And then you'll hit the patch where you're like, I know why I don't go to these often
Yep.
because it's a lot of I don't even know how you apply to get a TED Talk. But like the dude's on stage for like 18 minutes. They're always 18 minutes.
Basically, you just kind of have to love your voice, and
Yeah.
you can talk without a prompter.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty easy. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
damn,
like
that's
to
not bad.
contact
I
these
don't know. I mean,
people.
that's just
I've never
Did
put
they-
any work into anything to like talk though. Like I've never done research or anything. I just
Yeah.
be saying like thoughts. Like
Shit, I do research all the time.
there you go.
They
You
can
have to
get
go on
me
stage
on
with
there.
me.
Which I'm not good with public speaking though, so it probably wouldn't go well.
I'll be behind you doing sign language, but I don't know sign language, so it'd just be like me moving my fingers.
If I can't crack a joke and make it funny, then I don't do it.
Oh, you can do that on TED Talk.
oh yeah.
You
All
can
right.
do
You
that.
have to.
You have to.
Oh, okay. Then I'd be
Yeah.
perfect
See,
for
I feel
it.
like that
There you
could
go.
be like that's a part of why people suck at things
Oh,
because like they
yeah.
think they have to be completely serious about it. It's like
Yeah.
nobody wants that.
No, I don't think I could possibly fucking do that. There's no
Yeah.
way.
That's
Want to be
another thing I learned
knowledgeable
from
and
you.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Because, well, I think every artist does that, like to the point where I'll come up with some shit and I think it sounds good in the beginning and then I pick it apart.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
fucking sounds like a child wrote this. But I'm sure it does. I'm sure it should,
But if your
child could-
delivery is on point, then you can get away with it.
I
Right.
guess so, yeah.
That's
What's
for
what's out
sure.
there
kind
now?
of because I feel like the childlike mentality or approach to things it brings it down to like a more relatable level because
Yeah.
everybody has looked at things that way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make it too high-minded
There
and
you
like
go, yeah.
convoluted, it's like people can't follow it.
Yeah,
They're
no
like,
one
"What?"
would know what you're fucking
So,
talking
like,
about.
whenever people try to explain things to me, like before they start talking, I'm like, okay, talk to me like I'm an idiot.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then go from
Well,
there.
and if it's just too like uppity, it's like, what does this even apply to? How is this
bring it
important
all together
in
for
life?
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please. I need
Make
you
it
to
applicable.
wrap this shit up. Put
Wrap
a
it
little
up.
bow on it.
It's like we're not high right now. I don't really need your specifics and your details. Just give it to me.
Straight and to the point.
Comedy is that way. Like I like comedy, but I don't think I can truly because I can think it up here and feel it's funny up here, but I have a filter in between there and there that it's like I pull.
It gets jumbled.
Yeah,
Well,
I pick it apart way too
You
much.
have your starting point, like your frame of reference.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it just doesn't get translated properly because then you have to explain everything else that's up here.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like why I got to that point, and not assuming that they could put it together themselves. And then you said, you just try to explain too much.
It's just kind of irritating.
Yeah. It really
so
fucking is.
if you want to talk to people that are, I guess, on a lesser intellectual level, you have to spend a lot more time clarifying things and like building it.
all of it. Yeah.
But I mean, that's an important skill to have, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I'm not good with when people ask questions as to like what I mean, because I can't explain. So if you don't understand what I'm saying when I'm saying it, well, one, we're not speaking again, and two, you're just not going to understand what I'm saying because I can't. It instantly, I'm like, this is the only way I know how to explain it. That's why I fucking said it that way. I don't know.
We get into it sometimes where she'll say something to me and I'm just like, but like, how did you make, because me, I don't take what you say at face value, right? So if you say something at face value and that's what it is and that's it, I'm looking at your facial expression, the tone in which you like presented it to me and all that. And I'm thinking like, well, it means all this. In reality, when she talks to me, and she's really had to sit me down, like, this is what the fuck I mean. Like, don't read into it. And I'm a guy that I'll fucking, like, in depth, I'm looking at your expression, your body language, all that. I'm like, yeah, you said this, but I feel like you meant this.
Yeah.
There's only certain times she'll give me there's a certain face she makes when she's
I'll say I'm not mad.
Mad, yeah. And so
I'm not mad, but I'm not happy either.
And that's the one I know that she's like, I'm not mad, but and I'm like, yep, you're fucking pissed.
Well, look, even that
She's
one.
mad. She hates it.
Look at her, she's so mad.
She's so fucking mad.
Even that one, though, essentially, when I say I'm not mad and I have that face, it really just means give me 10 minutes and we'll be cool. Like, I just need to fucking sit here and stew and then I'll be good.
Yeah, 'cause there is a big difference between, like, I'm not mad, but I am a little mad, and, like, I'm fucking mad.
Oh, yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Oh,
you
yeah.
motherfucker. So,
yeah, because you know if I was mad because I'd be talking.
earlier in the week, so I've been trying to do this
Aggressively.
microdosing, right?
Yeah.
I've been trying to get back on to the
Allegedly.
microdosing. Allegedly. And so I'm sitting there like, it was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And I'm fucking like microdosing, like, 0.01. Or no, it was like 0.1. Okay, I'm good. So I pre-measured them, 0.1, all of 0.1, and I'm taking them. I'm like, it's nothing. So I was just trying to get my mind back, just creatively, trying to get back to like, let's open up a little bit. So anyways, I'm on the phone with these customers, talking and stuff. And I'm like, feeling good. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Sure enough, I took one too many. And in the middle of this conversation, this fucking anxiety rises in my body. And I look out the window and the leaves are moving and the fucking trees are moving. And I'm like, I call Sarah. I'm like, I think I fucked up. I think I took a little much.
Dude, he was all laughing and giggly and just fucking silly, dude. I guarantee if you had looked him in his eyes, they'd be watery and huge. Just
I swear I was like on the phone with the customer. Like, I've got to find a way off the phone because I'm going to fucking blow this one, dude. It was a shit though. And then I like went outside and I was like, because I couldn't be in the house because I felt like trapped. I'm like, fucking. But it don't take much for me. As I get older, I get more sensitive to like the smallest amount of shit. I don't think I could do acid.
He probably only took like 0.3.
Maybe. And I'm over there feeling it. Like when
I've eaten 3 before and been like,
I
like
don't know
straight
what
up
that is
3
about me.
grams. Yeah.
Everything I've ever done, I've been so like hypersensitive to, like as far as like medications and stuff.
Because you're a redhead.
Yeah, I felt that one, dude. I was
And
like,
probably a bitch.
fuck.
And a bitch, damn it!
Yeah!
That's awesome.
3 grams is what, it's like the starting point for a hero dose, yeah?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
5 is a hero dose.
5 is.
motherfucker.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's a superhero dose. Don't you correct me.
Yeah, you're fucking wrong.
Piece of
No,
Get
it's
that
cool.
shit.
I don't know anything. It's fine.
I don't know.
No,
But I would say 3 is like what you tell someone to take normally. Like, yeah, like.
me, I would freak out on 3 probably.
Oh, yeah.
Not freak out. I mean,
It's
I
probably
would coax
why
myself
when we
down.
were in
but
Tennessee that you had to fucking leave.
man, I've never had a trip like that ever before. But I think like there's a point where you like fall in love with somebody and you're like, my soul can't do without them. And then there's a point where literally your soul could not go on without somebody, right? And I'm sitting in the fucking middle. I'm like having fun. It couldn't have been like 2 fucking grams of mushrooms. Maybe not even that, bro. Yeah. And I take them, and then we go out on the strip, and like, oh, it's starting to kick in. I see the moon moving, and I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. And I'm having a good time, right? Well, all this, like, the social interaction, all these people, the silver man with the whistle and shit. And it starts
I have a picture of him. I'll show
Is he like a street performer?
Yeah, he's a street performer.
He's literally
Because I was thinking, like,
silver.
are you seeing this, or is
No,
this real?
no, this is
No,
real.
he's a real human being.
But like all this stuff, and I guess it was a mixture of like the hypersensitivity and then all the people and all the lights and all the sounds and shit. So we're sitting out there, and I'm like smoking a cigarette, and Sarah comes out and she's like, yo, can I get another beer? And I'm like, no, we gotta go. And at that point, like, I thought I was gonna pass out and fall asleep. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see her. I couldn't see the fucking street. Nothing. I'm gonna die here. Like, this is where I'm dying. Like, I'm just gonna sit here. If I would have sat down, I would have died. And then, like, I couldn't see nothing. And it's so good to have some, like, my soul was like, help me, help me. And she, like, all I could see was this like hand come out, and I'm like, yes,
Come from the blackness.
Yes. And I fucking held it, dude. Literally, she got us. And if you've ever been in downtown Nashville, like, it's fucking packed full. Like, it's hard to get out of there. Like, on that
It
strip.
doesn't matter what time or day it is.
Dude, she drags me out in the middle of the strip, like Main Street, knocks on this fucking taxi driver's door, and she's like, you got to get us the fuck out of here right now. This taxi driver was like something out of fucking like whatever fucking movie where they drive fast.
Like, get in, I got this.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. There you
it
go.
was really more like, okay, come on, get in.
Yeah, dude. And at this point, like,
Happy to help.
I've never sweat so much in my life. The shit was just like just waterfalls.
Yeah, you were definitely wet.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you were.
And like what? We were like 2 minutes outside of town, and I'm like, oh, I feel so much better. But at that point, I think my soul literally like fell in love with like her being. I was like, oh, I'm fucking in love. So now,
because I saved you from the trip.
Yeah. the hand from the abyss.
Dude,
is
I
what
swear,
will fall
That's
in love
right.
with.
I just
It's just
thinking
this
back about it
hand.
like gives me
He gripped
anxiety
him
now.
tight and raised
Yeah.
him from perdition.
Oh, dude, I almost fucking died. That was like that time where I was just like, oh, I'm gonna try this DMT just to make sure that it's real. When I was like drunk, I was like, I'd been drinking that night and shit, dude. And the only thing that I could remember was like Sarah's name. So I just started yelling it at the top of my lungs. Like, it sounded just like, I know it had to, man. I'm like in this fucking world where like you're like huge mammoth beings and shit, and all I can think is like, Sarah's name.
You know what's funny though is it took me a couple times to hear it. I guarantee, because I was in the bedroom, and I heard something, and I was like, well, he's just out there doing his thing. Like, I'm sure he doesn't.
him.
Yeah, he doesn't want me to come out there. So
My man's fine.
yeah, so I
was so
stayed there,
far
and I
from it,
heard
man.
something else, and I was like, and then finally it was like a Sarah.
You
It
ever
was so delicate.
you ever been asleep and you're in like having a bad dream and you feel like you're yelling at the top of your lungs, but really you're just making a like, you know what I mean? That's how it was, bro.
Yeah.
And
It was
that was like
nothing going on.
the wildest thing, and that's why I preach to people like, don't mix DMT with anything, weed or anything. One time I had this guy at the house. He's like, yo, I want to try it. I was like, come to my house, clean and sober. Nothing in your system. Come to my house, clean and sober. He's like, I got you, bro. Him and like his buddies come over and they're like, you're gonna love it, right? And he fucking hits it, and I've never seen so much fear in somebody's eyes. He was like, all he could ask me was like, am I okay? Am I okay? I was like, bro, I don't know. Like, I'm not you.
I don't know. You
Like,
tell me what you feel
maybe. I don't fucking know. But come to find out, like, he had smoked a bunch of weed before he got there. I was like, what did I fucking tell
What
you,
did I
bro?
tell you?
I've
He's
been
like,
here.
I am sober. All I did was smoke
Smoke
weed.
I can see that mentality.
Uh-huh.
I did. I was like, what do you want me to do, man? Like, fucking, I'm going to push you out in the hallway if you start seizing up. That's what I'm going to do.
I mean, it makes
No,
sense
you're
because
not.
like pretty much any time like I've done acid or like shrooms or anything, it's like, all right, little weed, get it rolling.
Absolutely, yeah. Those two things go very well together. Well, I guess, yeah, good combination either way.
I think DMT
But
just,
not DMT. It needs you to
Yeah.
be just
it demands
cleansed.
respect, bro.
That video that you sent, the TED Talk, man, where he was talking about like reality
Talk,
is just
man.
our shared hallucination.
Yeah.
You know, and then I started thinking about like I've never done DMT, but the way people talk about it, where you see essentially the same
They
shit.
see the
you
across
know?
the same lines.
So
yeah.
I mean that kind of serves as evidence that the DMT shit is some sort of reality.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because I mean, if people are seeing the same shit, by that definition,
they say that like you can go as deep, like 5-MeO DMT really is like I've never done, and I honestly don't know. I'd really have to like be in a moment where I'm like, yo, I can handle this, because apparently it separates you from all your being. It's you are, I don't know how to explain it. I've never been in it, but from what I can tell, it's like a breakthrough trip, but like on steroids. Like it's the fucking the monster of all fucking trips. But they say that those characters and shit that people see in DMT, that we all share, that they're the keepers of nature. Like they are the keepers of water and the keepers of the trees and stuff, the wind, all that. They're the characters. Yeah,
it really does make me wonder, like if it would take you to like another reality plane of existence,
right?
And
but everybody's shared.
It just there's like 2 or 3 different types of experiences you have, so it just depends on like what part you get dropped in. Are you on 2nd Street? Are you on Main Street?
No, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
That kind of ties in. Like I bought a new issue of Psychology today. I haven't read it, but like I was thumbing it.
Yeah.
And there was a quote about like the way we perceive reality and shit.
Yeah.
And it was talking about how it's like don't be so quick to believe what you see, because animals out in nature, they see different colors, they perceive sounds differently and shit.
Right.
And then I started thinking about existence as kind of like this. It's just this pool where like it kind of ties into the Einstein idea where everything's happening at once, where it's just a pool of everything, and then our physical receptors and shit just perceive it one way,
right?
And then it's like, oh god, so
no, you're right.
You
Hell
that
yeah.
shit.
That's why he always thought that like the past, the present, and the future are all happening at the same time. I thought that was because he said it like time isn't linear,
right?
And that's a good way to look at it. Like because you think about the past, like it's not there. Like the past doesn't exist technically, and neither does the future. The only thing that exists is the here and now. Like,
like even our memories, like we don't remember shit properly.
Right.
And
so
we
like,
watched some
in
on
the
that
past, because I mean the 3 of us, we perceive like last week differently.
Right. For sure.
It happened.
It makes me,
do, man.
But not that way.
We watched the whole thing about how people, and they were doing it. Like they would match up like what they thought they saw, or what they thought they were a part of, and they would totally crush it. Like people that thought they were like at the 9/11 site were actually miles away, but they were so young that their mind put it together like they were there.
Well, and even people who were like adults and who were there were like, oh my gosh, like I saw this cloud of shit coming up behind me, and really no, they weren't even there. But it makes me wonder if like all the information that we have now, then like if it's our perspectives are just our perspectives. Like mine's different from yours is different from his is different from the cat from the cow, yada yada yada.
I like that you brought the cat into it.
Oh, of course. Well, they're part of the family. Like all the information then that we have, all these scientific studies, all this just education. Is it true? Is it even close to being true? Like, Indeed. Is it only what it says because that's how I perceive it? Or like if cats could read, would they be like, oh, okay, yeah, like, and then make some big discovery because...
Like, oh, yeah, I certainly agree with this. Yeah. My cat perception says that this is like this.
It's just like, meow, meow.
It's like what they say if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to see it, did it really fall?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it doesn't really make a sound.
Yeah.
Well, either way.
Yeah.
It's true. Exactly. Yeah, fuck you. Don't correct my man.
I'll correct him all I want. I'm splitting hairs here.
Mm-hmm.
Apple.
Who want to get in the hair dealer business, bro?
Yeah. Bro.
I don't know,
But it makes me wonder because, like, if maybe that's why there are some people who make these extraordinary discoveries because their reality is different. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If the cat could read it, they could go from, okay, here's this to whatever the next big discovery would be because they perceived it properly or differently or whatever. Mm-hmm. Versus me, I wouldn't be able to do anything because okay, cool, well,
you see it for what it is.
It's like the idea with Einstein, because I mean he was just coming up with shit that it was so far ahead of its time. Mm-hmm. He didn't even have ways of testing it. Yeah, but he was still right.
Yeah, it's crazy shit,
man.
dude.
And they find out like more and more today of how right he was because he couldn't even prove that he was right. He was just making these assumptions.
That's wild. The fact that shit, and you know he's not the only person for that to ever happen to. Yeah. I'm sure it's few and far between, but it's crazy to me.
Then, like, even with the idea of, like, you know, when you were talking about the September 11 people, and they'd see, like, they have the dust or the cloud or whatever behind them, like, just because that wasn't caught on video doesn't necessarily make it not real. And, like, that's pretty fucked up. Because then that kind of is, like, what, I don't know, I guess what visual wavelength our cameras tuned to.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes they'll pick up shit like ghostly things that like humans don't see, but then you go back, it's like, oh god.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what we watched another thing about how you can't trust video either, because we may perceive something on a video, but the video may be off by a certain amount. Like it might tweak somebody's face to look like somebody else. In reality, you can't, just because you have somebody on video that looks dead like you doesn't mean that that's you.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, like, you know, back when they thought the lie detector test was like the end all be all, well, now they're like the end all be all being video is it's not as reliable as they thought.
You being convicted for robbing a store because, oh, well, your face is on camera. Clearly it was him.
They're overturning cases now.
Yeah.
Because the DNA didn't match up.
Also, I mean, a prime example of cameras and shit is like we have 2 cameras going, but I mean,
3 actually.
I can't count.
Yeah, I
know. But you know,
are they like, really? Oh, no, I mean,
just
sorry.
Subjectively speaking, like we're gonna look better on one of these cameras than we do on the others.
Yeah,
even though we're the same physical being.
Yeah, I'm the same here.
Yeah.
And
it's a
all
matter
of
of light and angle.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like, you know, you see a picture of a chick, you're like, oh yeah, I'd let her get it. And then you see her in real life.
Oh,
like,
God.
God, don't even be near me.
Look at this monster.
Yeah.
Can I just beat off to that picture?
Yes. Yeah.
You'd probably be better off that way anyway. Man, that's something else that fucking baffles the fuck out of me. Now that you bring up women on like Instagram and shit. Like these bitches, and then somebody made a rap about it. These bitches are fucking getting paid just to like show their ass or their tits, and they literally think they're doing something. Like they think they're like models or not. Yo, people are taking shits looking at your pictures, liking them, and jerking off to them, bitch. Yeah. You're nothing special. Like, and then when you turn 50 and or 40 for that matter, you're not gonna have the body you have now. And I can't wait because you ain't gonna be shit just like you were when you were 13.
They won't be shit to the younger people, but to the people that have aged along with them.
Oh, they'd be like, yo,
oh yeah, you're a bad 50-year-old bitch.
Now they can get it too because she's not on her high horse.
Yeah.
Of people liking her.
Well, no, and you know that
menopause is coming. I gotta get it while I can.
You know that they would actually be like, well, is there a younger girl I can look at? Because old bitches are nasty.
Yeah. You know, I thought about that though. I've thought about that.
And like, that concludes another segment.
Would you truly like, you know, like I'm the age I am now, like. But I grow, as I grow into an older man, will I start to see the beauty in an older woman? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, yo, like I like you because you're intelligent and you're fucking, you've seen a lot, like you fucking been through a lot, like yo, you're fucking sexy. And then I look at the younger kid like, yo, she's a fucking idiot. I don't want nothing to do with that.
Right.
I don't care how good the body looks.
Right.
As you get older,
yeah, but whenever
different.
you're that same age, you're like, damn, this girl's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's like I started to pick up on that now. Because I'll see chicks that like they're in their 40s, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I see like an 18, 19-year-old. I'm like, look at that child.
They look like children.
Hell yes.
If you can remember back when you were just getting into middle school or even like 7th grade for that matter, you remember how fucking like you thought you were the grownest motherfucker ever. Is that a word? The most grown motherfucker.
That's a few
there
words.
You go. Grownest. You know, you thought you like had it. I thought I had it fucking figured. Nobody could tell me a fucking thing. Like,
no.
And I look back now, and you see like a 6th grader now, right?
Yeah.
They look like they just come out of the womb.
Dude, dude. I had that exact thing happen.
That realization.
Like, yesterday. Well, I saw a picture of there were 2 pictures of Jason Bateman like side by side.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up seeing him. There was just some show like Chicago Suns or some shit. I don't remember, but him being on it, like in my memory, I remember him acting in it. And then I saw Arrested Development. I was like, this motherfucker hasn't aged a day.
Not
Right.
at
But then I
all.
saw the picture like, side by side, and I was like, he was a scrawny kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they first come out. But in your visual, what your brain tells you is like, yo, he doesn't age. And that's another thing they do. Is like this
crazy.
test where they put the fucking board here, and they put your hand over here, and they put a fake hand here, and they put a fake, your real hand here.
Oh, yes.
And they stroke them both at the same time. Where your brain tells you like that's a real hand. That's your hand now.
Yeah.
Like because your brain, that's how it perceives it. That's your hand now.
Yeah.
So really, it's all to do up here. And when you think about that, like anything in life, you can structure the way you want. Like you can look at a terribly tragic situation as good or funny or whatever. It's your decision. It has nothing to do with out there. Like this has nothing to do with in here.
Right.
Like nothing you do can make my day good or bad. I can. Like I'll get in
You,
these
you
moments.
just have to make the choice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to let this make me mad, or I
Yeah.
choose to allow this to make me happy.
But when you
Just how
look
you
at
take
people,
it.
I've done
Yeah.
that before. Like there's people, I'm sure you have in your life, where you're like
We'll
they
see.
didn't age to you at all. Like
Yeah.
what's the black guy narrator? Just fucking amazing.
Morgan Freeman?
Morgan fucking Freeman. He's old
Cuba
as
Gooding
fuck
Jr.
now. He's old as fuck now, but in my eyes,
Jesus.
he hasn't aged a second. Like he's still that same guy that I fucking fell in love with his acting. Like he's
Yeah.
the same guy. But in
His
reality,
his
he's
hair's
about
just
to die.
gray.
Yeah.
He's gray as fuck, about to die. about to die in this motherfucker. But it's all our perception of and what you remember of that
Both
person.
of you
You know what I mean?
motherfuckers.
I know. Sorry.
Sarah's going hard in the paint.
Right? Look, I even put my glasses back on because I was like, I can't see if that turns off, and then I still.
Hey, that one's
hit the
not
shit.
on.
Oh no.
Or is it?
No. it's
No.
not.
Or if
I've
it
never
is, I
seen it.
can't
Y'all
tell.
motherfuckers can't see shit.
Mm-mm.
And I got colored glasses on.
Well,
No.
it's because of that fucking pillow blanket. thing.
Yeah, it's the pillow's fault. It got in the way.
No, man, look at it, because it's like red on the red.
Oh,
Like,
I got
yeah.
you. I was like, what? Okay.
It's this influential motherfucker over here messing with my sight.
All right,
Hey,
so
but it's crazy though, like how much the brain impacts. Just, I mean, duh,
Oh,
of course
yeah.
it impacts
Well, yeah,
everything.
but
but
people
I mean,
don't think it. They just think it's another organ or something. Like
it's
they don't.
just-
Yeah.
This is a fucking amazing thing, and for the fact that you only use a very small portion of it is mind blowing. You only use the RAS. What am I bugging you with my fucking conversation? You piece
No,
of
it's
shit.
just a stupid point. We use the whole brain.
No, that's not. We have a reticular activating system, right? Reticular activating
Richard
system.
Allen's death.
It does use the entire brain, right? But it only uses
Shout
small
out.
sections of each part of the brain, right? Because you get stuck in this.
yeah, so suck a
So
dick.
when you wake up in the morning,
ah.
generally speaking, the brain it has a way of doing life every day, right?
Right.
It sees shit all day long, new shit, old shit, whatever. But it generally does the same thing every day. That's why people can get in these ruts of working at a dead-end job, fucking hating life and all that, because this reticular activating system.
Yeah, but I look at that as just like selecting and like using specific parts for certain things.
Right.
It's like if you're going to go do electrical work, you're not going to use your hands and your feet.
Maybe.
That'd be weird.
Yeah. Like, oh, I really need to grip this wire.
Yeah, but
I'm going to get it with my monkey feet.
you only use specific sections of each part of the brain. Yes, you use the entire brain, but only specific parts. So in general, as an entirety, you only use a very small section of what your brain's capable of.
At a time.
Yes.
Okay.
At a time.
At a
Yeah.
time.
All right, now that we cleared that up, I'm on board.
Yeah. Continue.
Before I was
Imagine if you forced yourself all day long to use different parts of your brain to do the same activity, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how you would go about doing that.
Damn
but
it, I was
you
going to
gotta
ask
force
say,
yourself.
like,
Yeah.
how do you do that?
Yeah.
You just go about it a different way, and you look at things differently, and the things that you view as sad or irritating, you look at them like, yo, that shit's funny, or use that as motivation, like I'm gonna fucking do something with
Because like I saw a thing one time where it was like, if you put your belt on the other way,
that. Right.
it'll activate
Stuff
a different
like
part
that.
of your brain.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess
It's like you're learning something new. That's what when I said that I wanted to learn like the keyboard, and I don't go full force and stuff like that. Even like the drumming, how I've been doing whatever. Another thing which is weird and it's fun to watch the brain do this, and we talked about it. There's a song that I created like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And this year or two ago, like I
Yeah.
never wrote anything down. I was like, I'll just remember it for the rest of my life. didn't remember a bit of it at the beginning of the week. And I told her, I was like, yo, I don't remember none of it. And I thought it was a damn
good song,
verse.
actually,
It was
yeah.
great. So slowly but surely, right? I played the audio over and over and over, and my brain put all of it together except for one bar. Like that's all I'm
still
missing. in
can't
my
figure
brain.
that bitch out.
One
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah.
So I've
One
been
bar.
trying to do different things, like add in like different music and different vocals and stuff, just to see if I can find it in my brain somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can literally fill my brain trying to find it. You know what I mean? It's like, where is
find
this?
it.
It's
It
weird.
knows it's there,
It
but
knows
it
it's
just
there.
doesn't know where it's stored.
Give me 7 seconds with it.
It's like when
I'll
you
finish
you fucking can't find your keys. Like, I know I just fucking had them. What did I
Yes.
do with them?
But they're like, are they in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, but your brain is so like, oh, they should be over here.
Right.
They could be right here in front of you, but they should be there. So your brain's like, oh, well, they're nowhere to be found now. They're lost.
Yeah, forever.
Forever.
Might as well
But
get
I
new
like that
keys.
though. I want to do that. Like instead of putting my right shoe on before the left one, like put the left one on before the right, or like things I do, like the way we go to bed at night.
Yeah.
Tell me it ain't a ritual. We
Oh,
do it
it
every fucking night.
absolutely is. Yeah, so
But the-
much so that as soon as we get up and start doing the first
we
thing,
have jobs.
the cats walk in here because they know they're going to get food
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
roughly 3
Oh,
minutes.
they're getting ready. They're getting ready.
Yeah.
Let's eat, boy.
Yeah.
They
So what can we
instantly
do
know.
to fuck it? Like I'm gonna
Even
try
if
that
we
this
just
week.
went backwards,
Yeah.
well, we'll brush our teeth first
and then
and
make up the bed.
yeah.
You know. Yeah.
all that stuff.
Or
But-
feed the cat first.
Yeah,
Or
oh,
so-
yeah,
I'm
feed the
gonna
cat
do
first.
it. I'm gonna see
Yes.
what happens this week. See what.
That kind of gives you a mastery of your own space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fucking sick, man. I like it.
It's a good idea. I wonder though, like, if is it possible to do that with all activities?
Oh yeah, like everything in life.
Yeah.
Thought.
Seems
Sweet.
reasonable.
What about like driving a car? I mean, yes, there's something you're not always doing the same thing because obviously streets change, cars are different positions.
You could hit the gas with your left foot instead of your right
Instead.
foot.
Yeah.
Drive with your right hand instead of your left hand.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Interesting.
I'm gonna try it out, see what happens because I'm really interested in exploring other ideas because honestly, like I've learned that if without me going to work and me going to the gas station all the time, we're like, dude, we don't fucking spend.
Gas
I don't
station all
spend.
the time.
Yeah.
The only fucking money
A
that comes
weird
out of the bank
hobby.
account is like the fucking Netflix stuff that
The
normally
bills.
comes out,
Yeah.
and it's like the account doesn't move now. And I'm like, oh shit, I was spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's what
Fucking doing
I
nothing.
told him
I'm filling
because
up time.
Yeah.
I had told him that before we had, which I mean, it didn't matter because it's not like we were going broke because he's buying a fucking Butterfinger every day or something. But
I hate
it's
Butterfinger.
still like, whatever. They hate you.
It's still the what?
Yeah, it's still there's a noticeable difference. Like
man.
I never spend money ever because I don't go to any stores.
Yeah, and
So-
I stopped going to the music store all the time because I would stop in there if like I had a break at work and shit. Dude, I'm telling you, one day I will own a motherfucking music store
that
Yeah.
because
one.
I love it so much.
Hell yeah.
But that was like an addiction I had a break, and you're talking about changing the direction you go.
Yeah.
So I'd change the direction I would go because it was just out of habit. Like, yo, stop in there. They might have something cheap, you know. Well, and then
On
everything.
the cheap.
That's
Yeah.
like a woman's mentality.
I swear, dude.
Oh, it's on sale. I gotta
I
get
gotta
it.
get
Yeah.
it. I got it. It's a different keyboard than the one I got now. It's a different guitar. I gotta buy that shit. And it's just something that happens, man. It's a weird habit. But I wish that no. In the fact that I haven't been doing all that, like I've been trying to explore what can I create without buying anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Like what can I create with what I have? That way, when I have more, the creation just gets bigger.
Look, and that makes you be more creative because you've got to find like less traditional ways of doing things,
Right.
essentially.
Like
You can't
making
just throw
sounds.
money at it. And,
Yeah.
Instead of buying like sound packages on FL Studio or Logic Pro, like how can I make those at home? Like can I
Package.
fucking,
Right.
can I crumble this, make the same
Yes.
sound? Can I throw some reverb on it, make it sound weird, you
Right.
know? So you think about that, and then you think about, because I always think about the drums we have in there, right? I think about drums a lot often.
God damn it.
I
God
know,
damn.
dude.
And
You're kicked out.
when
Fucking
I'm
bitch, you're
playing on
done.
those drums, right? I'm like, it's harder because you don't get the bounce that you would get out of like a Pearl set, right? No matter how many times I tune the fucking drums, I can't get the same. What do they call that? It's rebound. I can't get the same rebound from those drums like I can Pearl. But I always thought about this about guitar. If I if I fucking practice on a shitty set, not a shitty set, but a lesser set,
A less cool set.
when I get to the pearl set or whatever, like I can make magic with that. If I can make magic with, you know, the lesser of the two, when I get to the good shit, I can fucking like make this.
But there's
magic.
going to be like an adjustment period because you're so used to playing a certain way. To make it sound a certain way, you're going to have to adjust everything.
Yeah.
And
well, growing up with the... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say it'll essentially like activate a different part of your brain. So it's going to do exactly what we've been talking about.
Unless, of course, you have that stupid-ass goal of making this other thing sound like this other thing over here.
I want to make this drum set sound like a pearl.
Then, like, you're still functioning differently, but you're getting the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When I was,
I guess I don't know. Then if you function the same way and you get a different thing, are those really the only two options?
Essentially. I mean, I think.
God damn it! Yeah.
It seems like on the surface that would be it.
It's like I don't really want to pick it apart.
You either function differently, get the same thing, function differently, get a different thing. I don't know though,
because when I was growing up, I always had in my mind. I don't know where I got this fucking concept from, but I was like, I guess because we couldn't really afford really good shit like the stuff I wanted. But like growing up younger, because I did end up getting a fucking Stratocaster, but I was like, hey, if I can play these solos or these songs on an acoustic guitar, which is significantly harder than electric. Electric is smoother. It's easier to get to where you're going.
Unless you got like 15s on that bitch.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
So I would practice this shit on acoustic, and I'm like, then I carry this over to an electric guitar, and I'll be faster because I'm used to having to like press harder. Get there, faster because it's harder to make that sound in an acoustic guitar. And but I kind of found it to be bullshit because then like you said, I had to readjust to the electric because
it was
so smooth.
The song all over again.
Yeah, it was so smooth that I was like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to having to really work to get to it.
Yeah, it's like the reaction was just too easy.
Yeah.
We're like, well, I can't do this. Yeah.
And I played on a Les Paul, and that shit, like you can touch it. And the noise that comes out of a Les Paul, a real Les Paul, American made, it's just like, it makes its own music.
Not that bullshit Italian shit.
Yeah, fuck
you can
that
touch
shit.
it. It's just like, whoa. Like there's a whole new world of music out of a fucking Les Paul than a Stratocaster or a Takamine or some shit. You know? It's crazy. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just a rough adjustment period. And I always thought like one's the other, but no, you're right. You would have to adjust to the new thing.
It would be relearning.
Yeah.
Maybe not completely, of course, but it's a 60% relearning.
Yeah.
That's
shit like that always just makes me think of RPGs.
Yeah. For sure.
Role playing games. I'm glad I'm on the same page.
It's like you're talking about that shit, and I'm just seeing like my items menu and like the clothes that I put on the character. I'm like, all right,
yeah,
all right, I get it. It's funny how we relate things. Like I always relate everything to like music or something that I'm really interested in. I'm like, oh, that's kind of like. It might not be nothing like it, but in my head, I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, but I feel like if it connects in your head, then it is something like that.
Yeah.
And people can't see that. They need to fuck off.
It's just like everything you all say, I'm like, oh, yeah, there was a comedian I listened to that said this. Yeah. It's constantly. Or Bob's Burgers, yeah. Yes. But it's because all I do is listen to comedy, watch Bob's Burgers, American Dad, and fucking Rick and Morty. There's
dude, I saw, I didn't read too deeply into it, but I saw that we're like, Dan Harmon has Asperger's.
Huh, I'm not surprised by that.
What the hell?
I can see that for sure.
Yes.
All right, great.
Yep.
It's like, all right, that was just an interesting fact.
They had a thing
Alleged
that they were doing, alleged fact. I assume they're still doing it, where you can be drawn into one of their episodes.
Yeah, if you like donate to whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's certainly.
Damn it, I wish I had like $1 million.
Like that's what makes me wish I had money.
Yeah,
just for shit like that.
They said it's
it.
another thing I asked for when I go on top of the hill. I'm like, provide me with the means to give. Like if I had $1 million,
I want to see this goddamn hill.
Yeah, I'll take it to you while she's cooking.
I'll take it to you.
I'll take you to it while she's cooking.
Bring it to me. I like this.
Yeah, bring it here.
But that's something I asked for. Like that's my main ask is like, give me the means to make a change. Like give me the sad thing about it is, and that's why I tell her, like, it's hard to say I don't give a fuck about money, because without money, without that tool,
Right.
you can't really do much. You can offer your time, but there's only so much time one person can give.
But you can say you don't
definitely-
give a shit about excess money.
Yeah.
Assessment. But that's the thing. Like that I told
You
her, if I had millions,
Yeah.
right, I would take out like 80,000, right, to pay all the bills, get her out of her job just like normal, and then the rest of that money I could spend on like homeless people or building a shelter for women or like anything. Think about it. Like
Drug
think about the
treatment
possibilities.
facility.
That was
Anything.
a segment of Adam pretends to care about women.
Yeah, I know.
It was very small.
Well,
You
that
see that
it
one
came
thing.
from one of my things that I want to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just want to punch them all in the fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won't be allowed to work there because it's gonna be battered women being battered.
Adam's home for battered women,
It's awesome.
where Adam does the battering.
I just see all these women being like dipped in like an egg mixture and then dipped into like flour or whatever. Battered women.
Oh, I get it.
You
Oh, I
drop
get it.
them into the fryer.
I'm there with
crispy and delicious.
Yes.
I'm fucking there now. I get it.
Ew, this one's got blood in it.
Speaking of battered women,
Eee.
we have been watching this fucking god awful
God.
fucking
Surviving
series.
R.
Keep watching
Kelly.
it.
Surviving R. Kelly.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
Jesus
no, we can't
Christ, dude. This dude is a fucking monster.
Allegedly. What's his basement look like?
Which
I don't
one?
think they've actually shown it.
Got a lot
yet.
of basements, bro. Got a lot of videos with a
Here's
lot of
what I
women in
see, man.
basements.
I need a house that's nothing but basements.
This dude is seriously a fucked up individual. Not only that, the bad part about it is he was so fucking powerful, famous and rich, and he made the record companies so much money that they just covered up everything. They're like,
He had people basically going out and just picking up
Finding
underage girls and
underage
bringing them
girls.
so he can fucking rape and
in your
torture
opinion,
them and
the
abuse.
people that found the kids and the people that let it go on, aren't they just as much at fault as R. Kelly is?
They're
Come
like
on.
70% the level of
That's
fault that
exactly
he is,
what
but
I
they're
thought
still
was
at fault.
70%. They should still be
Yeah.
fucking charged. Yeah,
It is-
70.
Dude,
It's called
like,
fucking accessory.
when you
Yeah,
see you for like in my point of view, I'm like, well, like, okay, there's one 14-year-old chick,
Fucking accessory.
right? There's one 14-year-old chick, right, that met R.
want
Kelly
you to
at a
know.
trial for him fucking a
Yeah, she's a
14-year-old
retard.
chick, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I didn't believe it. Bitch, he's on. Anyways, so at
know.
first I was like, well, look, dude, you're at his trial and you're 14. You knew this was coming. But then you like see the pain in these women. It's still to this day, like the pain that you can fucking feel it in this.
Yeah.
This motherfucker will drop you to your knees. This series,
Yeah.
because like the pain in these females' eyes, I'm just like, Jesus, this dude was a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Well, and then they interviewed this one guy that basically was like his right-hand man who...
Oh
like,
yeah, and he's free. Like,
And he's just talking about this stuff. It almost seems like he doesn't see that he's
It's, like,
done anything
normalized.
wrong.
no.
It's crazy to me, but he's just telling this stuff like,
Like it's like us having a conversation.
you know, if I had shame about something, like you'd be able to tell. If I
Absolutely.
felt guilty about something, you'd
you
be
can't
able
tell
to
with
tell.
this guy.
Yeah.
It's
Nope.
nothing. He's just
Just
telling it
another
like
day
he's
at the
telling you a
office.
fucking
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
It's like he does that with all of his clients, but R. Kelly's the only one that got caught.
So I
Yeah.
went
That's
out,
it.
I went out and I kidnapped this bitch. I brought her back to R. Kelly's dungeon.
Yeah.
He's all
What
like,
else
I
do you want to
Then I went to
know?
the
Yeah.
Dairy Queen, got a little chicken basket.
That's
Yes.
it. The same conversation,
Yeah.
same level of just delivery and everything. Like, and this dude doesn't seem like he thinks he did anything wrong. And I'm like, yo, you are just my.
You
And his brother,
facilitated this shit.
his brother's in this fucking series, right? This
Oh God,
docuseries.
his brother's an idiot.
And he's in the brother is like in jail for robbing,
Yeah.
like robbing
I
somebody.
think it's
for something.
burglary is what
Burglary?
he's in there for.
Yeah, and the dude's like, oh, it's the girl's. This dude's a fucking monster too. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you're all the same, except for the one R. Kelly brother that like threw him under the bus.
Yeah, dude, his one brother is fine, but the other one was just like, oh, you need to just leave him alone.
Leave my man alone.
Yeah,
Now,
dude,
I give
he's
you
an
like
idiot.
the dude is a
Like-
genius and shit, but so was Michael Jackson, and the dude like put his finger in little boys. Like
Thriller, man.
Yeah, it's like,
Thriller.
what?
that's pretty much the argument.
Yeah,
with these
but
people.
yeah, all
They
these
get
hits.
Trapped in the closet, man.
Yeah.
Trapped in the closet.
They show
Ignition.
like they show the people at the trial and stuff, the
Fresh
ones that
out
were
the
taken up for him, and that's pretty much their argument. They're
Yeah.
like, "Yo, but he created. I believe I can fly. Or I believe I can fly, yo."
Yeah.
Like that a
I
guy
do every
that
time they play
a
it
guy
on there.
that created that would not fuck a young girl. Like, yo, I got the proof to show you. No.
It's like they're not willing to not live without new R. Kelly songs. Like
we can't go on.
So I feel like if people want to make that
Oh, stops
argument,
making
say,
music.
okay, what was his last album then, bitch?
Yeah, exactly.
What's your favorite track on that one?
Yeah, and because
Living in the past.
no one gives a fuck. Yeah, you can still listen to his music when he's locked up. You just don't get anything new, and it's probably okay.
Yeah,
like,
it's fine because you're probably still just playing his old shit anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't care if it's my
Dude, he better
favorite
get-
person on the planet, favorite musician. If you have ruined that many people's lives, you need to be incarcerated.
He was on trial
He got
while getting girls.
dude.
He was getting girls.
Didn't
while
get
he was
in
on trial.
trouble for the first trial. Like day after, he's like at the mall picking up
The
fucking
day
high
after,
school
bro.
girls.
Like he walked out of the courtroom and was like, that one. Mm-hmm. And he was like, get that 14-year-old chick, and then we're gonna go to the mall and we're gonna get more 14-year-old chicks.
I'm gonna get some malts and some pretzel
It
bits.
was like he was having like
Pretzel
this
bits.
celebration of getting out. He was like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm cool. Like, I'm gonna fuck some more 14-year-old chicks.
I beat it. Let's get it.
Yo, I'm sorry.
I knew I wasn't guilty.
Fire up
Dude,
the rape van, Donnie.
He was in an rape van. He was in an interview, and this guy asked him if he liked teenage girls, and he said, "Well, what age you talking about?" He said, "Like teenage," and he said, "If you mean like 19, then yeah, that's exactly what he said."
That's
If you
what I was
mean, like-
thinking.
Yep. No, but under that,
Kelly.
no.
No.
I don't even like 18. It's too close to the border.
Too close to 17.
But
It's like I don't want to
know.
go over 80 when I'm driving. I stick it at 78.
That's right.
She
79
read
is too
somewhere that California put that on their paperwork
In California, you can have pedophile as your preference
as your sexual preference.
for stuff. Dude,
What?
isn't that ridiculous?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. California, bro.
Wait, so like, let's say I'm a pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
Would I put that as my sexual preference, or would someone else
Nope.
say like they're into banging pedophiles?
Oh no.
No,
would
you
put
if
in-
you were a pedophile, you
would put that
you
down.
would say,
Yeah.
I'm not.
This is what
I'm
I
not.
like.
Why would anybody
I'm not
own up to
heterosexual.
that?
I'm not homosexual.
Oh.
I'm not all the others.
Just
that
indiscriminately fuck
Pedophilic.
children.
yeah, I am.
Pedophilic.
I'm fucking pedophile.
Put
yeah.
that down in the dictionary. Pedophilic.
Uh,
Yeah.
Kind of gives it a softer
so
spin on
pretty.
it.
yeah.
Pedophile seems so angry.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
make it sound a little bit better about
Put a
fucking
little artistic
boys.
flair on it. It also
No,
kind of
but-
sounds like a kind of flower.
Yeah. It does. Yeah.
These are the moments where you're like, man, I wish I was, because I'm a creative and all. Man, I wish that I was touched as a young boy because
shit,
apparently,
too.
if you get like a finger in your ass when you're young, you are automatically a star when you get older. Because
Right.
all these guys that are like fucking famous, they're like, oh yeah, I was touched by like a uncle or whatever. I'm like, that was the missing puzzle piece this whole time. I could
Yeah.
be creating good music if I was fucked
I'm
as a
gonna
little
say
kid.
it's either you become that or a drug addict or both,
Yeah.
because the majority of addicts and alcoholics have
Oh,
some
dude.
form of terrible drama.
There's
that has
a-
happened.
Uncle
Speaking
David,
of
I need
fucking
you to
drug
fuck me
addicts,
so I can be better.
There's another fucking show that now it's like so
Can you turn it
bad.
down a little?
It's so bad that you can't look away. You hear me?
Thank you.
It's fucking Weird Addictions.
Yep.
What is it called?
Strange Addiction.
My Strange Addiction, bro. And oh my god, these people just need to go like smoke some heroin or fucking
Dude, I swear we
shoot
were
up some meth.
watching it,
God
and
bless,
I was
dude.
like, instead of fucking your car, like, couldn't you just shoot up heroin? Like,
The dude fucks
deal
his
with
car,
this
bro.
Like,
in
actually?
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to know. We need to look
What
up
part?
all of
All
it.
of
He
it.
just rubs his dick all over the car until he comes. Like that's how it goes.
Yep.
Does it get on the inside? or
plus,
is it
you know
all
Oh
what?
yeah,
external?
no, both.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a fucking like a Chevy, like a
Oh.
Cavalier.
The man
It's
has
like a
no
nothing.
taste.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Fucking
yeah.
terrible.
He's got bad taste.
He's look
Fucking
at these
Beamer.
curves.
It's like the fucking fat girl with the underbite of cars.
Yeah, it is. No, it's fucking terrible, man. You look at that and it's like, why can't you have like a normal addiction to a drug that at least makes you feel? These motherfuckers
Yeah,
are eating
at least
bricks
makes
and
sense.
fucking
Like,
makeup and spraying
people?
Whatever people. What I say?
No,
People.
yeah.
Oh yeah, because the one lady
Which
eats
that
her
shit made
husband's
me
ashes.
fucking sad.
That made
Some
me
of
sad.
them I
Eating
wasn't.
people?
her husband was cremated, and she was carrying. It started out her just carrying the box around with her, and then she accidentally got some on her finger. So instead of wasting it, she licked it off, and she hadn't stopped. Hasn't stopped since like 2011.
She just mixes them into the Brussels sprout.
She just sticks her finger straight in. And
this is how you can tell that you are becoming a
Dude,
compassionate human being, because we watched like a couple of them,
that
man.
shit made me
But the
sad.
one that was in love with the fair ride and shit, and you look at them and like you start feeling bad, like, oh shit, man, you have a love affair with the car, the fucking Ferris wheel, man. You need to fucking like bond that, man. Y'all need to get together and talk about it. You and the fucking Ferris wheel.
I'm okay, cool. Like, that's just you do you. I don't care if you want to put on a silicone bodysuit and dress like a girl.
Man,
I don't care.
Do what you do.
Yeah, but
that's when you know your level of acceptance is like superb.
See, I'm okay with the Ferris wheel shit.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, well, that's beautiful, dude.
Yeah,
like,
let them have that love.
You should
could
see the smile, like the
oh
the
my
fucking
god,
fantastic.
it was great. Yes, when
She loved it.
rode the ride, it was. I've never seen happiness like that.
No, it was true joy, dude. I don't think I've ever, even like shooting up dope, I wasn't even that happy. Fuck.
Nope.
This
never.
lady was the shit, bro. She found it.
Yeah.
Plus, it was all
awesome.
the one that she had was all broke down, so she went and rode another one. She was like, "I don't consider it cheating." Like I was like, "What?"
It gave her motivation to work harder to get her husband. His name is Bruce, by the way.
Bruce.
Back to working properly. She went home and was like, "Yeah, dude,
We're
I'm
gonna clean
fucking
'em
getting
and
this
fucking-
shit."
Yeah.
Yeah. It was beautiful. I swear to God.
So when is the next time you play?
He
Tomorrow?
doesn't know.
Tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow.
They're practicing.
No, we're
They're
practicing.
practicing. You gonna go live with that shit? Y'all need to start doing your practices live so people can see that shit.
But then they'd have no reason to come see us.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they would.
I mean, even now, I guess they
That'd
don't
be
really have
like
reason to
a
come
band
see us.
saying, "Don't film our live recording," because then people could just buy that and not come see us. They'd have no reason to.
Don't tell
those are
me
dope, bro.
about my art.
Yeah, don't tell me
Those
what to
good
No,
tell
it's
ones.
you.
fine. You
Yeah.
can. Did you guys see the shit about the Area 51 raid?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Where, like they had the fucking like the little
shit, sorry,
newscast
son.
or whatever, where like they actually had the kid do the Naruto run in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That was gold. But they said they only had like 150 people turn up,
Yeah.
which is actually more than I assumed would turn up.
I didn't think any were going to. I
they
thought it
said-
was just gonna be like an empty promise. Like,
They said they were talking to the guards and shit,
Mm-hmm.
like cutting up.
Damn.
yeah, some of the pictures, the guards are in the back just like laughing it up. You see it like the kid with the fucking aluminum foil thing on the top of his head and shit.
See, I didn't actually look at any of the stuff. He just briefly told me about some of the stuff, but I need to actually look into it.
Yeah, it was cool. It seemed like
It's awesome.
I mean, like it's like they understood that it was just a fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're not actually gonna try to go in and get
Yeah.
an alien. It's like let's just show up and
Well, then
have a little
that's,
party.
dude, I wish people would do stuff like that still and more frequently. Just doing shit for fun and like not fucking it up for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, because that means in the future more people could go just for fun. What are you doing? Okay. But they could go just for fun. But
Yeah.
so many people want to do just fucked up shit anymore. They can't you just go and enjoy something and not ruin the
man.
experience for everybody else?
Yeah.
They just, I don't know what that is, but it happens more frequently.
I
now.
agree with you, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, like, shouldn't we just say, like, let's not let this small minority of people fucking shit up ruin it for everybody?
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
there's that.
It's like, oh, 3 people did this horrible shit. Let's shut it down.
Oh, yeah,
No.
forever.
They do a
yeah.
good job at that, man.
I wish that it was like that to where it wouldn't ruin it. Just like the vaping stuff. Like some people have died who
Dude.
vaped.
You
So
guys should be chewing.
Oh no, you're good, man.
no.
No, fuck it, just chew.
But
God,
8 people died and they vaped, so they're just connecting it as these people died from vaping. So
Such a
they're
fucking
talking about
shit.
fucking banning everything.
Oh, they're not tired. They're in the process.
They're in the
of
process
banning
of
bro.
it.
Ban cigarettes, you dumb fuck.
I
They're
know.
not. That's what I told her. I think it has something
Billions
to
of
do
people
with
have fucking died.
over cigarettes, but
Yeah.
no
Worse
fuss.
than the Holocaust.
This is another thing that I talked about like the human race banding together and being like, yo, We live on this earth. You have no authority to tell us what the fuck we can and can't do, especially when it comes to stuff like natural occurring things. Like, so I want to take a coca plant and fucking make cocaine out of it and get fucked up. You don't have the right to tell me if I can or can't eat mushrooms. Like, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Because I live on this earth. Like, what makes you, like, who fucking puts you in charge of the land that you never owned in the first place?
Tell me what I can and can't do.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, bro. I'm going to do whatever.
People that agreed to vote for leaders.
Yeah.
And
Go represent me in my narrow-minded shit.
They will. And you know, there's the bigger majority of people have to be led. Because so many people are that employee that all they know how to do is put the box in the fucking thing or work on the fucking Ford line their whole life and shit. Like, that's all they know how to do. So they need somebody to lead them. They don't know how to think, yo, I can lead myself.
Right.
Anything I want to do, I can do. And it never dawns on them. And then they get 60, right? And they're on their fucking deathbed and they're like, and it hits them. They're like, this whole time I could have been doing everything that I wanted to do. And then they're like, oh, fuck. And all this like regret just builds up. And they fucking regret their whole life because they're sheep. That's all they are. But if we all band together and be like, yo, you're not taking this shit from us. Like, the ones that have used it properly, you're not taking it from us.
And there's an issue because with so many issues, instead of like planning ahead and like thinking of potential consequences and regulating shit the way that they should, instead of just saying I'm not going to do this. They should, it's being proactive instead of reactive. Some motherfuckers died, so let's just fucking get rid of everything. No one can do this because we don't want anyone else to fucking die. Like, suck my dick. That's just, it's fucking ridiculous. Because it's going to happen is people are going to go about it in a worse way.
Oh, in a worse way.
They're going to cause more problems, more health issues, which I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with vaping because it causes problems.
Right.
But
that should be your choice to do.
I mean, it's like what happened with Prohibition.
Yeah,
yep.
Exactly.
They banned the shit and people made their own hooch. It was stronger than they expected and they died.
Yeah, exactly.
And it goes back, we were just talking about this, that gun owners are very fucking resourceful motherfuckers, right? So you ban their guns. Okay, cool. Half those motherfuckers know how to build their own gun.
Yeah.
They know how to make their own bullets. They know the whole process. And
they're
now
enthusiasts.
You can 3D print your own gun.
Oh yeah.
So you can take the guns all you want, but it's going to create an even bigger problem. Well, now you don't even have them registered.
Yeah,
people
now
just
you
fucking
have
carrying.
no idea who has them, if they are working right, because making your own gun is increasing your chances of it malfunctioning and fucking blowing your face off. I mean, all kinds of shit comes with that. Shut it down. Like, can't you just allow us to, like, one, understand that you're gonna have some problems with everything, especially when you've got 7 billion people on the fucking planet. You're gonna have some issues. So just allow the majority of the people to be considered responsible. Allow us to do some shit, and then those ones who fuck up or those ones who die because they're stupid, like, sorry.
Yeah, just deal with it and accept it.
Yeah.
It's like forms of government.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they say, oh, the system we have now is kind of fucked up, but it's the least fucked up.
Right, exactly.
So we're not going to abolish it just because shit happens.
Right. Nothing's fucking perfect, and it's just not going to be.
Yeah.
Not when you've got a bunch of fucking humans in the world.
No, I don't think it'll never, you're right, it'll never be perfect. It'll never be spot on. People are going to die. People are going to fuck each other up. That's just the way of the world. That's how we do things.
Every time you say that, I'm glad you say up.
Yeah. Way up there.
Way up there.
It detects stuff way up in the butt.
No, man. And that goes back to, like, learning from your mistakes, right? And you can't really learn from death, right? That's one you can't learn from. But
other people can.
If I never had the opportunity,
who knows what happens after you die? Maybe
right?
You're like, oh
Could
man,
be
I
a
died,
party, bro.
Oh, all right. Well, I won't do that again.
Don't do that again. You don't know.
Am I dead?
And then a vulture swoops down. And
it goes back to, like, going to prison and shit. I would have never known the consequences of my actions, as far as, like, robbing people, shooting dope, not giving a fuck about pretty much anything, like, it just running over people's lives, right? I would have never known. Like, I was just doing that. Well, then you send me to prison, teach me a lesson. When they found, like, they locked me up 11 times before they actually locked me up and was like, yo, check it out. You've been a fucking piece of shit for 11 times now. So we're going to go ahead and give you 10 years, right? And then we're going to let you out in a year and a half. see if that teaches you a lesson. When they said 10 years, I was like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't 3 days anymore. It's not 10 days.
Do something different
This
in my
is real.
life.
Like, I've been doing it
strikes
wrong.
And you're out.
Yeah. If the very first time, which
right.
the very first time I ever got locked up in Indiana, it was pretty fucking intense because they gave me 3 years, which is 18 months in Indiana. You do half the time, right? As long as you're good. But it just still didn't dawn on me because, like, I was young. I got out in like 6 months, and then I had to go back for another little bit. But the thing that fucking blew me away is, like, when they finally was like, here's 10 years. You've been fucking up. Like, if you ever come to my courtroom again after we let you out in a year and a half, like, yo, we're going to give you every bit of the time, and you're not going to see parole for 8 years.
That's
like,
exactly what they said to him.
they were like, you're not going to see it. We're going to remember your name because you've been here 11 times. You haven't learned a lesson, right? We're going to teach it to you right now. So if they would have did that the very first time, hopefully, I would have learned.
Or maybe
like,
even
this
like
is wrong.
the third
time. Yeah, give me the third time. I'll give you the
shit.
third time.
Yeah.
But people, and then like, so then I see on the this fucking on the internet these fucking bitch ass moms that stay at home and they don't know anything about life. Fucking cunts. They're like, they're talking about bullying their bitch ass kid. Okay, the one good thing that ever happened in my life was the fact that I was bullied when I was a kid. I got the fuck beat out of me every single day. You know what it taught me? To fight the fuck
I was
back.
gonna say stand up for yourself.
Yeah, learn how to fight, you piece of shit white kid.
Well, and can we just go ahead and like, kids are mean.
But hold
kids
on.
get bullied. Who the fuck hasn't been bullied
But
in
hold
their
on.
life?
Right?
The fucking moms on these fucking bitches are like, yo, we need to band together and make it a felony. You make it a fucking felony, dude. Kid, do you hear a felony?
Bullying?
You know what doesn't let you? You know what follows you the rest of your fucking life, and I know this firsthand, is a motherfucking felony. You're talking about giving a fucking like a child a felony. You piece of shit cunt whore. Don't you ever fucking put, like, why would you share that, you stupid bitch?
All right, while I agree with you,
Yeah.
Fuck.
I agree with.
Let someone else talk.
I also,
Sorry, man. This shit fucking.
I also fully support the idea of waging war on children.
well,
I do too. Yeah, for sure.
But like, yo,
But
lock
you
them up
don't-
for a fucking misdemeanor.
But you don't need to you don't need to give them a fucking charge. Like, the kids don't know what's really going on. So
Yeah.
you could just tell them that they're going to have this thing that put them in a fucking, make a fake fucking prison or something, anything. Fucking
yo.
do something to show them differently that their
Shit.
actions are unwanted.
They're like banding
Blindfold
together,
them
give them
and-
fucking felonies.
How about
yo.
you just
them on the
bully
side.
them?
Yeah.
Blindfold them and what?
Blindfold them and then put them on the set of Orange is the New Black and
Hell
make
yeah.
them throw in prison.
Yes.
Like, wait a minute, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh, you about to get fucked now, kid.
Yeah. I'm going to put my dick all up in that
Damn
butt,
it,
boy.
man.
But I also feel like if they made an example of one of them, you know, and actually hit them with a felony for bullying, then they say, "Oh shit."
Dude,
Yeah.
so you don't
but I
even
mean,
have to
it
go
is-
that
shit-
far.
Yeah,
You,
but that shit
you don't have
doesn't
to go
need
that
happen.
far. As a kid, I stole a lot of shit too, like from Dollar General, all that shit. Well,
Oh, you
somebody
steal from better places.
I know, right?
somebody employed me when I got out of prison. Like, not employ me as far as pay me, but they were like, "Yo, can you come talk to my fucking, whatever, their niece
Son.
and nephew, whatever? Can you talk to my son?" I was like, "Do I have the permission to cuss and handle them rough?" You know what I mean?
Tony
Like,
Robbins for
so
deviance.
I show up, bro, and they were the same. They were the kid I was, fucking 15, 16 years ago. Like, they were the same kid. So I go in, yo, and I fucking like steal all their shit. I'm like, I'm taking this with me, like, and I'm gonna fuck you. Like, I told him, like, yo, you want to be fucked every day? Do you want to get the shit beat out of you? Then stop doing this. 'Cause if you don't know how to fight and if you don't know how to do that, you're gonna get fucked in prison. And I like that. I hope showed them like, yo, maybe I should fucking stop doing this. But people need to be more proactive. Like, catch it. Don't give them a fucking felony.
You don't
idiot.
need to give them a felony. But, like, kids being bullied, like I said, has happened since the beginning of fucking time.
of school.
Now, when
This is a part of it.
there's a problem, though, when someone injures someone, like, that needs to be addressed because that's assault. Like, that is a felony. You cannot give someone a felony for bullying someone.
Bullying.
Well, see, I feel like the biggest problem with bullying is whenever it gets reported, and then the bitch adults don't do anything about it.
Yeah, they do nothing.
And then that's why they should be charged, and not the children.
Well,
Exactly.
see, like my dad taught me to fight and to stand up for myself. He used them as like teaching lessons. Yeah, he was like, he's a lot softer now than he used to be, but he used to like drink and fucking be like, you don't come back in the house until you feel okay about yourself.
But
until
that's
you
a
can,
good idea.
yeah,
That's a
until
good lesson.
you can come in and be happy for what you did. Good, even if you lost the fight. I need you to feel good. So he would put me back out there. Like he wouldn't let me come in the house until I felt good about myself. Like I had to go and do it. And then like my mom giving me permission and my dad giving me permission. Like they went to the principal and like, yo, this is happening every day after school. Every day he's getting beat up. So they never did anything. So my parents looked at me and like, yo, you're going to have to do something. Quit being a fucking bitch. So what I do, I started learning how to fight. A little bit at a time. Still got my ass whooped a whole lot.
Yeah.
But eventually I'm like, oh, I can fight now. Like
You got a little less fucked up every time.
You got a lot of fucking parents that like baby the fuck out of their like the
Yeah, the problem is your kid's a bitch.
yeah.
Like
I wouldn't take it back. Like I wouldn't take back the bully. I wouldn't go back now and be like, yo, I wish I wasn't bullied. Like, it helped me in life, I think.
I think bullying, it does help because it teaches you, okay, first off, not everyone's fucking nice.
Right.
You have
There's
to
evil in
stand
the
up
world.
for yourself. Yes, there's evil in the world. Like sometimes you have to address issues that you don't necessarily want to.
Right.
Like
You have to face them.
Yeah.
You have to fucking get out there and face them.
it's a real world, it's an adult issue being taught as a child. Like
Yep.
and that's how you prepare for adulthood is you're taught as a child what the fuck to do in those
You
situations.
gotta handle yourself. You can't have outside interference all the
Yeah,
time.
man.
Yeah,
Like
it's-
somebody coming in and like save the day.
Yeah,
Like, you
because
can't have
when
that.
you're an adult and your boss says
You ain't
to
got none of
you,
that.
you know, this work fucking sucks or you suck or you need to do something different, you're going to go home and cry because you're not going to be able to handle
Right, man.
something as simple
Mom,
as...
my boss shit on me.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
well,
a-
he will not do that again. Or
like
she.
You were doing good
Like
work,
another
baby.
thing is
Yeah.
like, my dad was our baseball
baby
coach
do
from
nothing
like
wrong.
when I was a kid all the way through Little League. Like there was only a few years where he wasn't, right? And we really had to strive hard to be on the team because Dad would bench the shit out of us. Like he would, like I think I've said it like a million times. Yo, Dad, I want to be a pitcher. Thinking like, yo, it's my dad. I can be a pitcher if I
Right.
want. No, he was like, you suck dick as a pitcher. Get on first.
Yeah.
And if you suck dick there, I'm
terrible.
gonna put you on third.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And he would bench the shit out of us. Like he would make me cry all the time. You know, but it taught me like you can't get ahead in life by fucking crying about anything.
Right.
You either
Right.
get better at it
Yeah.
Yeah.
or just sit on the bench and shut the fuck up.
And you don't just get shit because you think you deserve,
deserve
to have
it.
that shit.
Yeah,
like you have to
fuck
work
outta
for
here.
shit.
Yeah. It's it's
Unless you're born
terrible
into
what they're
royalty.
teaching.
Right.
That's-
Yeah. And then it's
that's
part of
kinda
it.
cool.
Well, that's one of my customers. You know, recently, that's what we had a conversation with. Like, it just seems like the person has never like really had their ass like handed to them.
Yeah.
Like,
This
they've never
person
been-
has clearly never had their ass kicked.
Yeah, knocked down a couple notches. Like you're not as special as like your mommy and daddy made you.
Yeah.
You're just a person that has what is it? Better opportunities than
Status,
most.
yeah.
You're just sheltered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody gives a fuck about you. And but these kids aren't learning that, and then when they
No.
get older, it's a fucking shock. Like, I'm glad for it because when I got into the real world, although it sucked and I turned to drugs, it was like, yo, I'm working 3 jobs here, and I live in a studio. I could take a shit and cook a turkey at the same time. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
drugs and make myself feel better about this.
Convenient, though.
I know.
Yo, it was pretty dope though. I could literally touch the stove from my toilet.
Yeah.
It was a little bitty ass fucking studio apartment, but the rent was like $290.
But at the same time,
yeah.
like
Yeah, you hear me?
sometimes it's just part of life. Like we all
Yeah,
have to
man.
fucking start somewhere. So if you
Yeah.
can shit and cook a turkey at the same time, cool.
Hey, that's
like
what you
at
gotta go
least you
through.
have a place to shit and
And
a turkey to
cook
cook.
a turkey, yo.
I mean, some people don't even fucking have that.
They don't have that, and that's what you got to learn. Like your situation ain't that bad because it gets worse. That's why, like me and you, and that's what I learned about the wreck. I think we talked to a couple about it, like, and then they show us pictures of their wreck and then how bad it was on them and stuff. And I told her, I was like, yo, everybody has a fucking story.
Everybody does.
Your story is not as special as you think it is. So just fucking live your life. Shut the fuck up. Like
Yeah, dude.
nobody get, you know, don't fucking like want sympathy for all your shit. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
They've all had their own story.
Yeah,
Like
can
nobody
we-
cares.
Can we move on, please?
Yeah, move the fuck on. I don't care about you, your dog, your mom, your dad. I don't give a fuck about your cancer. None of that shit because we all got problems.
Yeah. I was just gonna say because we all got cancer.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
We probably do, but it's dormant for now.
It's dormant.
For now.
That's why I told her
ass cancer.
I get on these rants, but you know that all this shit that I say is all gonna come get me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have cancer. I'm gonna become homosexual. I'm gonna be really fat one day.
I know.
I'm gonna be one homosexual, fat, cancerous motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like joking and you know what I mean, going on these rants.
I got prostate cancer, and I wonder what it's like to eat another man's jism.
I haven't been able to stop thinking about it for a week.
I'm not afraid to admit it, man. I think about it, like I feel bad for women. Y'all gotta like catch the stuff in your mouth.
The cancer's acting up. I gotta.
We don't have
dick.
to. No one has to suck a dick if they don't want to.
Well, sometimes you just got to.
No.
If you want to get ahead in life, sometimes you got to put a dick in your mouth.
No.
No? I thought that's how it worked. That's what was my plan to get famous as a rapper. Is I was gonna just suck a bunch of dick.
No.
And then get there, right?
It worked for Nas X. It won't work for you.
Damn it, man. Got him. No, man. I'm telling you, man. I enjoy life more now after the wreck than I did before the wreck because it put it all into perspective. Now I'm at like this mindset where none of it really matters. Mm-hmm. Like I could have, as long as I'm like beside you, if you leave, I'm getting high the next day and jumping off a bridge. That's all I'm doing.
Anywhere.
And don't take offense to it. Like you can leave, like, cause that's an enjoyable moment for me. I'm getting fucked up and I'm jumping off a bridge.
What if she leaves and like an hour later she's like, I fucked up and you're high as shit.
I know, yeah.
In California on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Me too.
I'm telling you, man.
Adam's on TV again.
Again.
Yes. Oh, please, Mom and Dad, don't call me. Mom and Dad, don't call me. Please tell me you didn't see it this time.
No, that's one thing I'm not afraid to admit, dude. Like, if it hadn't been for, like, meeting your sister and, like, you and the joy that I've had in life, fuck it, dude. I told her, like, if the fucking wreck would have took her, I'm out, bro. I'm sitting on the couch fucked up until they come to like get me off the couch and like put me somewhere else.
Yeah.
Out by the trash or something. And I'm just gonna sit there like, yo.
So once you find your meaning and you lose it, it's like fuck this.
Yeah, fuck it, man.
Nothing fucking matters.
You could go back to the drawing board, but it's
Who
hardly
wants
worth
to
it.
do that shit?
I know, because
who wants to do that?
Just be like, this is about like 60% of what my life was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And that's even after like the first marriage, whatever that was. It wasn't really a marriage to begin with, but even that, like I told her, I was like, I don't want to try to do that shit again. Like you work on something. What? You work on something so long, and it's like if it fails, it's like it takes a lot to get back up and be like, yo, I want to do that again. Like I want to go through that punishment again. Fuck. But so is that another episode?
No, wait. I want to crap on the new Blink-182 album.
Oh, okay.
Oh, go for it, man. I'm down with that.
It's really not that good.
I haven't heard it.
I've seen an advertisement for it.
Yeah. And there are a few things on it that are cool. Like they have some cool musical ideas and like, vocal melodies and shit. But for the most part, it's like they took their last album and stripped the humor from it and made it more about bum relationships.
Oh, well, that sucks. So, like, this is the only thing there is to write about.
Yeah, and it feels
How'd
like
they do that?
It feels like Mark's melodies are all pretty much the same.
Yeah,
And then
you think it's because they
he
got
has some cool shit, but for the most part, it's a disappointment.
Perhaps their energy's not good together.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then to contrast that, like Tom with Angels and Airwaves, they've released 2 songs that they're working on for their new shit, and it's obvious where the creative fabric lies.
Yeah, no shit. Dude, that's what some people, like, you just gotta learn. Like, yes, everyone wants Blink-182 to be around forever because nostalgia and all these things. Like, even you can replace Blink-182 with all kinds of things, but, like, it's time to let things go. You don't need to last forever. It's okay.
Yeah, because this one, it felt like they were just doing it so they could keep touring and making money.
Yeah.
Right.
It's uninspired. The tones are pretty much the same as the last one.
Damn.
That sucks, man.
That sucks. It's really disappointing.
I hate when music where I like music where they're in like a dark place, right?
It's great.
They create this fucking great shit, and then they get happy and they get money and they get a nice house and stuff, and then this shit sounds like dude, go back to fucking like living on the street so you can make good music.
Be miserable again,
please.
Please.
For the love of God.
Because I feel like whenever Alkaline Trio put out that one shitty album, You know,
They were
Skiba was
married.
happy.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like he's happy again.
Mm-hmm. And it's
And
just
you can feel it.
Yeah.
like, I really am happy
It's
that
not
he's
them.
happy.
Yeah,
but
good on him.
stop writing music.
Yeah.
Like, just live your life.
Just go ride a motorcycle and hang out with your friends.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Or can't you draw on some of that anguish from before? Like,
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
you
Let
not?
Dan's anguish.
You know, that's another thing, and you can hear it in the stuff
Did you
that
get
like
from the
I
jacket?
write is like I can look
Be able to
back
be-
on like the shittiest times of life and put myself in that shitty moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like ask her like the times that we went through
Come on,
in the
ask me.
beginning. Yeah. And those like the early part of our relationship was very fucking dark.
Yeah, it was
And
pretty
I can
rough.
go back, like I'll be driving, and I like to put myself in those moments again, just to see what comes from it. Like I told
Yeah.
her, like all the fucked up shit that happened between us, and the fucked up shit we did to each other, and all that,
Yeah.
the process of getting here.
Yeah.
Like I
Totally worth
I
it.
like thinking about it
I do too.
because it brought us here. But then it puts me in this mindset where like I can create some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Like, in that. But you can't be afraid of that.
No, not at all. Like, you can use it for a good thing. You can
Right.
use it to write your fucking music and shit, dude.
Indeed.
Or stop. I just
stop,
don't
yeah.
understand why people are so scared of stopping.
Don't go out that way.
Yeah.
Like, go out on the album that was your best.
Yeah.
And just leave it at that.
It
What?
why would they get rid of the humor?
I don't know.
It's so
man.
stupid.
They're like, we should be serious,
We should
guys.
get serious.
I mean,
about that.
at least on California,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there was charisma to it. They
Yeah.
were having fun. They were making a fun album. But this is just,
It's like it was
Damn, dude.
forced. Almost like, because I haven't listened to it, but you can tell when something wasn't meant to be yet.
Yeah.
At least yet.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I feel like you should listen to it so I can see if I'm crazy or not. You know,
Yeah.
maybe I'm just being too hard on it. Because I've done that with albums before.
Yeah.
I listen to it. I'm like,
Well, especially someone like that who's been so influential in life, and
they're one of the best bands ever.
Yeah,
But not so much on this album.
I'll have to give it a listen and see how it goes.
Give it a look.
Give
Give it a listen.
look. Give it a listen. No,
That's
it
all
was-
I got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I assume Travis's drums are awesome.
of course.
Yeah.
Man, that dude was born to be
He's
a
a bad
fucking drummer.
motherfucker
I love hearing
always.
his shit.
Well, and
Kind of though. I don't know. He's not really. He's fast and he's good and he's loud and he's hard and all that shit. But like as a technical drummer, have you ever heard him do
careful.
like?
yes, he's fantastic.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
He's fucking boss as
Yeah,
shit.
he's one of the best drummers.
I'll have to pick
ever.
out some more videos because I see him doing like his shit and it's great for what they do. But I'm wondering if he can keep like linear beat rhythms.
Oh yeah,
and,
dude. He's
oh really?
solid. He's been playing drums since he was like 3.
Fucking loves it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when you know you're like meant to do something. If it fucking drives you from 3 to now, fuck man.
Well, and for someone, I want to go back to the thing. For someone to put
thing.
a CD out that's not good, there's 3 members in your band. Like, someone else couldn't have said, like, this isn't good. Like, did you have pressure from your record label
Bunch of
telling
yes
you
men.
to do this shit right now? We need it by this date. Like, no one else was able to voice, this shit sucks. We need to do something different.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
What?
we need to grow these songs or something.
I'm
Right.
also a little worried that Mark might be spreading himself a little thin.
Yeah.
Because he produces shit for other bands. He's got that little side project, like Simple Creatures or whatever, with that dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
It's
You know,
unfortunate.
Cause I asked her, cause we have like the company. I want to do like some side videos just of like me talking that fucking thing. We talked about that, and then like this, but I've always been that type of guy where like all week long I'm like, yo, I want to do this, but then I want to do that. Oh, and then I want to play piano. Oh, and then I want to play drums. Like I can't keep on one thing. Like that's why I wish when I was a kid, like okay, say guitar. I wish that I was like, oh, drawn to that, and that's all I want to do. Well, that's what I wanted to do for a good portion, but I also want to do like 20 other things. Like everything interests me. I want to
Right.
build cars. I want to fucking like, you know,
I think that's good though. Like that just means you just have to do everything.
right.
Like even if you don't stick
But I was
with
never
it,
able
like,
to
try
embrace that
everything.
though, because they tell you that you have, like all the
Sorry.
football coach, like you cannot fucking play all the sports. You got to play one or the other.
yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to. I want to bowl. I want to wrestle. I want to play football. I want to play
Oh,
baseball.
yeah, and fuck them. Do what you want.
It
But-
seems like if you're an athletic person, then you can do it all.
Right.
'Cause, I mean, you know the rules,
Right.
and then you use your body to win.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Cut.
No, I do, man. I wish that there was like one thing I like. That's like the electric thing. Like I really like. I took it to a point where you can't go any further. Like I got my master's and my contract. Like what's
Until
next?
you've done wiring in the White House, you ain't done shit.
Ain't done
That's
shit.
right.
But when you think about it, like now I just want to I want to go do like HVAC. Start from the bottom again. See what I can do in there. Then go to plumbing or whatever.
Well, and see,
like,
that's
I
a
want to do
good
everything.
idea, though. Like, because starting from the bottom gives you that drive to do
Right.
better and
Putting
more.
yourself against the wall.
Yeah, and being a band like with the status of Blink-182, they're like, fuck it, we can just put out whatever and people are going to buy it
Damn.
because we're Blink-182. They don't have that drive to...
Throw money into the advertising.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's
That is
really-
a good point because they're going to buy it if it's shit. So let's just play a bunch of chords and not give a
fuck
fuck.
it.
Because
Damn.
it bummed me out also because they said specifically, it was like, we put our heart and soul into this record. We hope you like it. I thought, no, man.
you didn't.
Wait, Mark putting his heart and soul into shit was the Plus 44 album.
Yeah, that was
Like,
good as shit.
That was heart and
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah.
Damn it, man.
I know.
So is
God
it
damn,
worth
it was heart and soul.
Yes,
is
it was.
it worth fucking like even buying or listening to?
It's worth a listen because I mean, some people may get behind it. I feel like if I were having relationship troubles, I'd be a little more into it
Yeah.
because I mean they rely pretty heavily on that thematically.
I guess it does sometimes depend what you're going through when you listen to something.
I mean there are a few songs that I genuinely liked, but as a whole,
Down the pooper.
yeah.
Down the pooper.
Well,
I think though, even because it's just us and like we don't have a lot of outside influences, even the friends that we have, like we don't really base a lot of what we do on the friends.
right.
Like if we did, make something that was like a Blink-182, like their career or some shit, and we got rich and famous, so I think that me and you could put me and you into a terrible situation to be like, let's create.
Yeah.
Like, let's fucking donate the house, donate all the money.
Dude, you
and
seriously
fucking-
could like use your wealth and stuff, your financial stability to put yourself in a poor situation.
In a poor situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just
And get that feeling.
I
Like,
was
get
like,
that
we
feeling,
could
yeah.
just maintain this and then whatever. I can't think of any kind of
Right.
examples and
But you
except
get the
ones that
idea, yeah.
that I wouldn't want to actually say. So like yeah, and do it that way. Or at least take the fucking time it's required to create something good.
I know. It's like you look at Dave Grohl, though, man. Like, he puts himself, like, doing that analog album, like, where he was doing it all analog. Like, that was a good idea. It took him back to when he was a kid playing in the fucking garage. Like, they did it at home.
Yeah.
Like, tell me that's not, like, a great idea.
If you could apply that kind of theory, I guess, or philosophy to all of life, it'd be fantastic.
Oh, I
it'd be
think you'd do
crazy,
amazing
like
stuff.
what all you would
What you could do,
accomplish.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
How
sick.
happy you'd be with shit that you'd have to just
Mm-hmm.
put yourself back in that.
The suffering for the art.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man. I think you have to. To make good art, you have
I
to
said
suffer.
that
I think it makes
twice.
sense, but it's also pretty terrible.
That's like Dave Matthews said.
You'd have to really, really want to.
Yeah, Dave Matthews says you don't have to go through pain to understand suffering, right? So he wrote about pain that he had never encountered himself.
Yeah.
But like mentally, he would put himself in those terrible situations and then write this amazing music. Whether you like him or hate him, he was a fucking genius in that manner where he would put himself mentally, like you could put yourself mentally in a terrible situation
Right.
and never go near it. Like I feel like
Oh,
if I
that's
was
what-
rich, I could do that.
That's what Einstein did whenever he was
Oh.
developing
His
his
thought-
his
yeah.
his theories and
What do
all
you say?
that stuff.
Is a thought experiment? Is what he called them?
Yeah, thought experiment. As he would literally just
Pretend like he's a star floating through the universe.
try to experience himself, like what it would be, like what would happen around him.
Yeah.
So
And that's where his
if
ideas
you're
came
standing like with the idea of gravity, I guess, like if you were weightless, what would be occurring around you? Everything else, what's it doing? And to
from. He's
help
really
him.
good at it too, man. I mean, clearly was really good at it.
He was decent.
He was decent. But that's a good point you brought up. Like you take that point and how he would put himself in that, and he guessed all this shit that's coming out now in 2019. Like he's a pioneer in that sense. And if we
Yeah.
could all put ourselves in that situation, like what could we create? Like what could you come up with? Think about it. So like this week, and the people that listen to this shit, like try that. Like, step outside of the comfort zone with, like, the 401k and working the job and all that shit. Take a step back, see what would really make you happy.
Yeah.
And then mentally put yourself in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's what we were trying to prove with, like, doing the company and all that. Because I listened to all these people on the fucking thing. Ooh, you could do anything with your mind and stuff. Well, we're going to try.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can make it happen, then I'm going to preach it to other people. Like, yo, you try.
Hell yeah.
Just try it for 30, 40 days. If it doesn't work, suck a dick. I know. That's why I did that a minute ago.
What the fuck?
I like it.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Yeah.
Another episode?
Another episode.
Man, we greatly appreciate.
I have to
Everybody
piss and
listen.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too, man.
You gotta go see the mountain.
The mountain.
Yes.
It's really a hill.
Yeah.
I don't know how good it'd be at night, but I'm sure it
I
has the
bet
same
it's
effect.
Probably better.
Yeah.
We'll go up there.
Although in my head I pictured it during the day and like you have like the cool sun behind you and then there's some shit going on and then
Yeah.
I figure with that view, I don't know if they
I
have
don't know if there
lights
are any
and
lights.
stuff.
I think there
Either
are
way,
down
it'd
at the
be
bottom.
awesome.
But we want to say that we appreciate everybody listens. If you do listen, throw your shirt size in the comments or like DM the shirt size, and then when we go to order new shirts, we'll order you one and fucking like
We'll figure out a
re-up
way to
later.
get it to you
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do that, like, and then
via
so you can
carrier
wear,
pigeons.
so you can help
carry a
us like
Vulture.
grow the podcast and shit. We really appreciate you sticking with us this far. I know that we have like 26 views, so if y'all could share the podcast and widen our audience, we'd greatly appreciate it. But we
Yes,
appreciate even the little audience we do have. So anybody's gonna listen to us talk shit,
Yeah.
I'm willing to talk.
Yeah.
So
If you
we
want to
do
come
appreciate
on the show and talk shit, give us a call.
oh yeah, we are looking for
Next
looking for
guest?
guests. Yeah, so I don't care what you do.
You better be fucking interesting though.
Like, yo,
we need to have Couch in December.
Yeah.
because
Definitely wanna
he
have
has
Couch.
vacation time.
all right, Couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couch come out. Andy, yo, we'll get a cop's aspect on shit and like
Ooh.
all that. Like, yo, Andy, come out. You don't have to prepare
Sean.
anything. You don't even have to talk because we do most of the talking anyways.
Yeah.
Come out
Shut
and
the
sit
fuck
here,
up and
man.
listen.
Yeah.
And then
Actively.
add your fucking comments and stuff. So anybody who wants to be a fucking guest, you don't have to be doing anything amazing. Just come fucking chill out
Holla.
with us and
Yeah,
and
but I mean,
talk
don't
shit.
do anything shitty.
Yeah.
You don't have
Yeah.
to be amazing, but don't suck.
Yeah. But
Oh,
we do
Couch, you
appreciate
can't be on the
everybody.
show.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry, buddy.
But we do appreciate everybody, and that was another episode. We're on 25, right? 25, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you for listening. Like,
They should
share,
pay me to
comment,
talk to you two.
fucking,
I just
you know,
needed to say it again.
put us out there.
We do pay you.
No.
In love.
Wildly uninteresting. Sting.